Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the evil that men do. Father God, I pray and ask that you help me to have mercy on others the same way I would want you to have mercy on me. Father God, I also ask that you help me to be quick to forgive and slow to get angry. Amen, amen, amen. These young dudes out here don't respect shit until you put the barrel in their ear and let the text spit. I just might catch a case on my next hit, remove their whole face on some special effect shit. So show respect, trick, or I'ma have a flashback. Digging through the dresser like fuck it, where my mask at? The mash back with the banger and damage shit and say fuck everything I learned in anger management. Hop back on some east side managed shit and push a nigga's top back when I let the cannon spit. Start planning shit, premeditation. I'm in love with the streets again, rededication. Casket or cremation when I shoot you down. I was built full of smoke like a hookah lounge. I keep big shit that sound like a bazooka sound, and I shoot quicker than ain't gotta be a hoop around. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride, 3 straps, a ski mask with the case, squeezing keys apps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride with the 3 straps, a ski mask with the case, squeezing keys apps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps. Gun on me, it ain't never for show, homie. I'm far from a bully, but I'm never a hoe. Get out of line, my Beretta will blow. Real talk, we can take the beef wherever we go. I bring it to your front door like I'm Uber Eats. I guarantee you listen up when this Ruger speaks. Plus I maneuver through these streets like a ghost, and I'm handy with the heat. I cook a nigga like a roast. On me, homie, this is not a boast. I will still come through, boy, and stop a nigga's post. Play him close, man, Eric will ease it. Quickly off the waistband, man, and Eric will squeeze it. Leave you niggas laid out dead or paraplegic. Niggas playing in these streets while I'm very strategic. I come to your house dressed like the gas man. Shoot you 9 times, leave you stretched by the trash can. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride, 3 straps, a ski mask with the case, squeezing keys apps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride with the 3 straps, a ski mask with the case, squeezing keys apps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps. I don't put shit on Facebook, I just holler in person. Put the pistol in your mouth while you holler in cursing. All that shit you kept rehearsing and put on your live, got your clap with the big 4-5. You bitch nigga, if you tell me to pull up, I'ma do that. That nigga who was whooping first nigga that I shoot at. Ski mask on my face, bystanders be like, who that? I ain't with the talking, bitch boy, I thought you knew that. Leave his brains where my shoe at and bounce like I'm on a trampoline. Leave you laid out, nigga, like you camping on the scene. If you want something sweet, grab a peach or tangerine. Niggas won't smoke, well fuck it, I'ma let them handle steam. AR with the beam, you see the red dot? We tug on this trigger, nigga. It'll make your head pop. Blood pouring down to your shoes, call it Red Sox. Your brains hanging all over your shoulders like some dreadlocks. Expect the gang of dead ops if they ever cross the line. The Lord said in the Bible, oh, revenge is mine. So I'm just trying to find the righteous path between the two. Before I lose control and do the shit I used to do. This being humble shit is new. I'm trying to turn the other cheek, but I ain't never been a bitch, so watch your mouth when you speak. Your mercy's what I seek, so I pray on bended knees. Don't let me get the K with the extended clip and squeeze. Lord, please. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride, 3 straps, a ski mask with the case, squeezing keys apps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride with the 3 straps, a ski mask with the case, squeezing keys apps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps.
Man, all right, all right. What is going on, everybody? Glad to see y'all in the building, man. Glad to see y'all in the building. This is another one, man. I'm going to have to apologize again on this one, man. We got to get right into it. I don't want to be out here too long, man, so I'm going to get right into it today. Man. Let's thank Brother Eric, man, as always, man, for letting us use this music. Go over, check him out at 16 to Life, the YouTube page, man. A lot of funny stories, a lot of skits, and just a lot of stories that's not so funny, man. Just real life, how stuff really go, man. So, but go check out Brother Eric over there at 16 in Life, the YouTube page. Good dude, man. Good brother, man. I'm gonna pull Eric down, man. All right. Holy smokes, y'all. Holy smokes. Puff Dad T was doing this thing for a long time. And and now, holy smokes. Holy smokes. But what is this telling us, man? It's telling us, man, that you can run and you might go out there and do your thing, but eventually, bruh, it's gonna be, it's gonna come out. It's gonna come out if you continue. There's always a point at which when you're doing your foolishness, that God will give you an opportunity to just set it down and walk away from it. But if you can't do that, or won't do that rather, then eventually it's gonna come to the light, man. You continue to do it. But shout out to everybody, man. Let's check everybody in real quick, man. Let's get right to work. First up on the docket is Risa Neal. Always, man. Shout out to Risa. Happy Easter. Please hit the like button on the way in, man. Shout out to Risa. Glad to have you in the building, sis. Now, Risa is our resident sniper, right? So if you're coming over here to play games, man, maybe this is the wrong place to be, because Risa's not an ask questions, shoot second person, right? She's a shoot first, ask questions later person, right? And I have already told Risa, just shoot. Let them ask me the questions, right? Let these people ask me the question. So let them come to me and say, Clarence, one of your mods threw me out, right? one of your mods threw me out, right? And me, Vaughn, Annie, all the rest of us, we're gonna act like we don't know who you're talking about, right? We know exactly who you're talking about, right? I was typing and all of a sudden I was blocked. We know exactly who did that to you, right? So just let Risa have the day off, man. It's Easter, man. She really takes protecting everybody in this community very seriously. So she's a shoot first, ask questions second person. So, and I've already given her the green light, man. I'm with her, even if it was a mistake. I'm with Risa. So you ain't gonna win. So I'm saying, do you want to come back? And I'll go and pull you out of limbo and bring you back. But that's just, man, listen, y'all, we're all adults, right? We're all adults. Let's just act like if you were sitting with your family and a guest was sitting at your table. How would you want the guest to sit at your dinner table with you and your family and your children there? How would you want that person to behave? Well, hey, man, that's all. We just got to show each other that kind of respect. That's all we asking, man. Somebody like Risa won't even have to, get up off the couch or get up off of the recliner, right? But if you make the wrong move, I'm going to tell you now, man, you're going to be gone so fast you won't even see it coming. That's why you call her a sniper, because you ain't going to see it coming. You're going to be gone, right? What happened? Well, shout out to Risa, man. Happy Easter. Everybody, man, let's just act like we got sense. Act like we're all grown-ups. Got a question? Cool. But if not, I mean, if you can't be respectful in the way you're presenting it, then just leave it alone, man. Go somewhere where you feel like you can be disruptive, and they're gonna accept that. All right, but shout out to Risa. Glad to have you in the building. We also got Von Bryant in the building. Shout out to Von Bryant, man. Glad to have you in the building. Always enters the room. Very classy, man. It says greetings, peace, joy, grace, and abundance. You know what I'm saying? Where are you gonna go with people coming in and they wishing you well already? Happy Easter, greetings, joy. Everybody's wishing you well already, man. This is a different vibe here. It's a different vibe here, man. So, but hey, man, if you can see it and appreciate it, come on in, man. Join us. Have a good time, man. But if you can't, I understand. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got a whole lot of drama go over here. We have a little, not a whole much. Risa said, I'm running behind. Yeah, Risa, I was running behind. You know what I'm saying? You can hear my nose still stopped up, Risa. See, I'm telling you, man, they clown me too, y'all. They clown me too. Who else in the building? Shout out to Vagoda, man. That's our Israeli brother. Shout out to Vagoda, man. Glad to see you in the building, man. Hopefully everything is working out for you over there in Israel. Man, things are hopefully they're calming down. Hopefully. Who else is in the building? OG Patrice in the building said, greetings and salutations, family. So I'm telling you, man, where you go, and everybody is wishing you well. This is Sunday, right? It's Easter Sunday. I'm supposed to be blocking Vaughn in at church. I'm supposed to be blocking. I wish I went to the same church as Vaughn, man. I would go right there, and I would go right behind Vaughn's car, man. I would go either right in front of him or right behind him, man, and block him in, man. And then I would stay and talk to the preacher, man. I would stay. Dr. Jones, I got a few questions I would like to ask. He said, but I think you blocking one of my parishioners out there, Mr. Bryant. I think you blocking his car. Yeah, don't worry about Mr. Bryant. Don't worry about him. He'll be okay. Shout out to Von Bryant, man. Good brother. Who else in the building, y'all? OG Patrice in the building. Shout out to OG Patrice. He's in the building. Says greetings, salutations, family. Greetings and salutations to you, OG Patrice. Keep yourself safe out there, girl. But if you need us, all you got to do is call us, and we're gonna come running. Who else is in the building? Shout out to OG Patrice. Who else in the building? Sister Henny's in the building. Excuse me, Brother Clarence. You talking about lust? Maybe I'll be up there to talk about it with you, Clarence. Shout out to Sister Henny. That's another good sister, man. A lot of these people, man, I'm mentioning, man, they do a lot of stuff behind the scenes, man. So you just see me pop up here. Yeah, I'm just going to do a live stream. Nah, it's a lot of stuff happens behind the scenes for me to be able to do this kind of stuff, man. So, and this sister is one of them, man. So shout out to Sister Annie. Good sister, man. Glad to have her on the team. Who else is here? I think that's everybody that wanted to be checked in. Patrice said, check your text. I said, now I'm not like you, Patrice. I can't do everything. Oh yeah. I'm gonna do that. I keep forgetting. I'm gonna do that right now. Let's see. Patrice said, man, get them links out there. All right. So let me do that, and then let me do this, y'all. Let me do this. How was everybody's week? My week was rough, man. I went back to work. Holy smokes. They gave me some work like they give these 21-year-olds. I was like, whoa, what? I was like, whoa, what? Y'all know I'm 56, right? They said, yeah. But as long as you on the paperwork, you all good. We gonna put you all out there then. I was like, oh man. Come on, y'all. They got me out there. All right, let's see. I think that's everybody wants to be checked in. Everything's everything, right? Okay, let's see what's going on. Let's see what's going on. See, I'm just talking, right? Y'all need to see what's actually going on, man. What is actually? No, that's not what I want. Let's see. This is not what I want. What was it? What was before this? Oh, okay. All right, let's take that out. Here, this is what I want. This is what I want, y'all. Okay, this is what we want. All right, y'all. Let's take a look.
And now to the latest on the sex trafficking investigation that led to raids on the homes of Sean Combs here in Los Angeles and in Florida. He has not been arrested or charged, though he is named in multiple assault and trafficking lawsuits. Eyewitness News reporter Sophie Flay joins us here live with more. Sophie.
Giovanna, in a 79-page lawsuit filed by a music producer who claims to have worked with and lived with Sean Combs for a period of time, alleges there were underage girls, hidden cameras, and sexual harassment at his home, all of which Combs denies.
What were federal investigators in tactical gear looking for at Sean Diddy Combs' home in Los Angeles and Miami? Homeland Security says the raids were part of a months-long federal investigation, including sex trafficking.
If he's convicted, ultimately, he'll be in prison for a very long time. One count of sex trafficking typically is 10 to 15 years in prison.
Cassandra Ventura, also known as Cassie, filed a lawsuit in November alleging Combs raped her and forced her to engage in sex trafficking. The two parties settled the suit the day after she filed.
The problem for Diddy is those allegations become public immediately, and they remain public. They're public record. So now that they're public record, and Cassie was brave enough to put her name to those allegations and not just file as a Jane Doe, well, that certainly empowers other potential victims of Diddy's conduct.
Multiple lawsuits have been filed against Combs, including one by music producer Rodney Jones. Jones alleges sex trafficking and sexual assault, also mentioning underage girls in the 79-page lawsuit.
Okay. Okay, gang. Okay. Now, rumors have been flying around about Puffy for 30 years, right? Rumors. Look at all these rumors around me every day. Patrice, I'm not going on tour with you. I can't. I got stuff to do. I know I sing good, but please don't beg me no more. All right, anyway, a lot of rumors been flying around about this brother for a long time. Now it's documented. Now it's documented. We got the documents right here. Holy smokes. And you know, it's like any other breach. When you have a hole, when there's a breach in a dam, there's a hole in the dam, a little bit of water goes through, then a little more, then a little more. Next thing you know, man, the whole dam is done. Now, he had a lot of money to keep a lot of people quiet. You know, he had a lot of money. See, but that's the thing, man. When you're involved in this kind of lifestyle, you got to have money put to the side just for keep people quiet, right? That's the cost of doing business. When you having freak out parties and all this stuff, hey, there's going to be some people that's going to be disgruntled because they didn't get into this for this. You told them you was going to make them a star. And next thing you know, you got people running trains on them. Okay. So what's the lesson here? Well, one of the lessons is going to be, and we're going to get into it later, is can lust cut you off from your blessings? Can lust cut you off from your blessings? You may have a blessing that God want to give you, but when you get on this lust track, can your blessings be snatched from you? A lot of people went to this dude, man. Hey, I want to be a star. I want to be a singer, you know, and it seemed like almost all the people that came to him, even if they made it to stardom, they got problems, right? They got problems. Justin Bieber, Usher. It seemed like anybody that he put on, Faith Evans, Christopher Wallace is dead. I mean, there's another brother that just passed away, man. Black Rob. People don't do too good, man. Mace. These people just don't do well after coming in contact with him, man. What's going on? Oh, I know. All of them had the problem. It wasn't him. It was all of them that had the problem, right? Oh, man. We'll go to say trafficking in women and human beings in the country and outside of the country in general. This is what happens when there are open borders, uncontrolled entry, invasion, and foreigners and infiltrate. Okay. All right, Vagoda. We're talking about a specific situation right here. You know what? Risa Neal gave me a great idea, and I see it's an even better idea right now. Shout out to Risa Neal. She said, hey, man, why don't we do it this way? Why don't we play it this way, Clarence? Now I see that was a genius move right there. Okay, so let's finish up, man. Let's finish up with the news, right? This is out here in Los Angeles, right? Channel 7 News out here in Los Angeles.
Claims made by Jones include hidden cameras in the rap mogul's home, saying, quote, Mr. Combs allegedly threatened to eat Mr. Jones's face in order to get what he wants. According to law enforcement, federal agents with Homeland Security seized computers and other electronic devices at Combs' home in Beverly Hills and Miami.
The federal authorities will look into the evidence that they've collected, and then they'll go in front of a grand jury and try to get an arrest warrant for Diddy if there's enough there.
25-year-old Brendan Paul, who was arrested on drug charges Monday, also mentioned in the lawsuit, claiming Paul carried drugs and guns for the 3-time Grammy winner. He's since posted bail. Combs' attorney released a statement Tuesday in response to the raid, saying in part, there was a gross overuse of military-level force as search warrants were executed at Mr. Combs' residences. This is nothing more than a witch hunt. Mr. Combs is innocent and will fight to clear his name.
And it's still unclear where Combs was at the time of those raids and where he is now. His attorneys saying that he's spoken to and cooperated with authorities.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown.
All right. All right, y'all. So what we do know is the lawyer said he's innocent. Who else did we hear said that? But they tried to settle a suit. Dr. York, Polite, Weinstein, Epstein, huh? They innocent, but here's all this money to so you'll go away, right? But here's the thing, y'all. He got 5 civil lawsuits going right now. Puff Daddy. 5 civil lawsuits right now on the same subject. Right? These people finna get paid, or they're at least trying to get paid. But I think if he got a good lawyer, what they're doing now is they're just moving all his assets into a trust. So you can sue him, but you're not gonna get anything because he's gonna say, "I'm broke. I don't have any money." He's gonna do the 50 Cent, right? You shove all your assets into a trust, and then you say, "I'm broke. I don't have no money, right? I don't have any money. Nothing you can do." But God's hands are bigger than the money that God, man, I'm telling you, man, if God wants to really get you, he can get you. You ain't got no amount of money that you could put every dollar on the planet together. You ain't gonna stop God from getting you. But like they say, this is America. He's innocent until proven guilty. But what they say, it don't look good. It don't look good for brother Sean Combs, man. It does not look good. You know, I hope this is all a big misunderstanding and there were no victims. That's what I hope. But I looking at what's being presented by all these different people, starting not to look that way, right? And I'm not one of these black people that I get so attached to a person that I think that they can do no wrong. And even if they do wrong, we should forgive it and let them go continue to do it. No, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. If they wrong and they of good character, they should say, I was wrong. But most people are not of good character because when they're wrong, they won't say they're wrong. They just try to pay the people off to go away. And then they keep saying, hey, I haven't been convicted of anything. That don't mean you haven't done anything wrong. That just means they wasn't able to convict you of it, or you paid people off to go away or whatever, right? Or you intimidated the witnesses or whatever. This Puff Daddy thing is bad, man. It's really bad. But hey, I don't know these people like this, but I know somebody who do. Hey, Patrice.
Hey, brother, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly.
Can you hear
What
me?
do you think about? Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Man, this girl, this crazy girl right here, man. Where I go? What am I gonna do with this girl, man?
Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you.
Okay, I had to unmute. I'm on my laptop, so I don't know, something weird was going on. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, girl. How you doing?
I'm doing
Ah,
wonderful. Happy Passover.
hey, happy Passover. Happy Easter to
Thank you.
whoever those of y'all that are keeping track. What's going on?
Oh man, nothing much. It's been crazy these last few days here, huh?
Yeah, man. I didn't even know. This is shout out to Von Bryan. Von's the one that suggested we should look into this, but I haven't even been following it because I'm not really a Puff Daddy guy. But Von said, man, maybe we should look into it, right? So I said, okay. Now I think you are more tapped into the entertainment world than I am. So can you kind of give us the short version of where this all started and what's going on here?
Well, I'm gonna give as short as I can. I think it actually started. I mean, we
Take your
we
time,
we have
Patricia.
celebrated 50 years. We have celebrated 50 years in the hip hop industry, right? And it's unfortunate that, and we did a topic on hip hop culture and rap culture and how it evolved and how it changed the narrative for our culture and community, and not so much in a good way. And I think that what we're seeing now is another part of that. When we have people like uh Puff Daddy, Sean Diddy, P. Diddy, Love, whatever he's going by these days. When we have people that's been in the industry like him for over 30 years and how he have played a major part in the destruction and downfall of said genre in the music industry, it's just another L that the hip hop culture has taken, along with the our culture buying into the gangster rap. And now we see where we have people like your Puff Daddies that have been gatekeepers in the industry for a long time when it comes to hip hop and R&B music. And unfortunately now, this sale that we're taking, the is finally, peaking and wreaking its ugly head because of a woman named Cassie. It took a woman to take down this man because there was so many people was doing this and he was exuding this type of behavior and doing all this criminal activity, but they were afraid. And for many years, even women, even including Cassie, was afraid. But I'm finding it very, very odd that it took a woman to finally come forward when he had all these men around him that knew that he was exuding this behavior and doing these things for over 3 decades. So because she had to put a name to herself, put herself out there in such a way with this lawsuit, now it has opened up the floodgates for other people to not feel so afraid to come out and speak on Diddy and the things and the nefarious things that he's done to them, or the nefarious things that they witness he's done to other people. It took the artists, some of his artists had started speaking, been speaking out years ago. One of his bodyguards, a buddy of mine, Gene Deal, had been speaking out for many years after he left Puffy about some of the nefarious things that, he witnessed, or either that he heard about when he left Puff years ago, that Puff was doing. So these are things that a lot of people knew, and they turned a blind eye. They feared him because a lot of people around him that was a threat to him somehow they became unalive. So it was a lot of people afraid to speak up on him. When you have the type of power and resources and reach that Puffy have had for so long, people have been afraid, to speak out on someone, with his power and resources in the industry. But now, again, like I said, kudos to Cassie, because she had to actually indicate herself in order to get justice for the things he done to her and the things that she put in her lawsuit that is now became public knowledge, has raised the eyebrows of the FBI to investigate, because it's criminal activity that she claims in her lawsuit. So now that opened up the floodgates for them to investigate the X trafficking, the illegal weapons, and the illegal transportation of contraband. So, unfortunately, this is where we are, and it's long overdue. I think that a lot of people are being quiet because a lot of people are guilty by association and engulfing in that type of lifestyle with him as well. With the raid and everything, it's being said that there were videos taken, confiscated, pictures confiscated, along with illegal weapons that they're tracing to see if any criminal activity was, those weapons were involved in any criminal activity, because the serial numbers was scratched off these weapons. So it's a lot, and it's going to take a long time. So right now, for now, he's a free man because these are all allegations, right?
Right.
He has not been convicted of anything. So we have to wait. We have to wait and let the law and the criminal justice system and the FBI, because it's a federal case, do its job, right? So it's gonna, but things are just seem to be unfolding and escalating at a massive speed. I've never seen things happen and take this course so fast to this nature. It seemed like something is coming out every hour on him, new things are, being unfolded, new allegations. I know specifically 4 people were involved with speaking to the FBI. Cassie absolutely was one, even though she signed the NDA with the lawsuit. If something criminal has happened, the NDA is null and void. When a criminal act has incurred and you have signed an NDA, it makes no difference, because if a crime has been committed, she can now speak to the FBI, which is what she's been doing, and 3 other people allegedly has been doing that has had some involvement with Diddy.
Yeah. So my thing is, do you think the people that was complicit or lying silent, was it the money that was keeping them quiet, or do you think there was a threat of something may happen to them, or both?
I think it's probably a combination of both, depending on who the people are and what they role were in it, right? Like, you had certain other producers that were also friends of Sean Diddy's, like Stevie J, for instance. Stevie J is still sticking by Diddy's side. He was just seen the other day, with Diddy. He's profusely sticking by Diddy and speaking up on Diddy's behalf. They've been friends for a long time, but Stevie J is implemented in said case as well. So again, the behaviors Diddy's chief of staff has included the heads of some record labels and CEOs of companies. Has been alleged his 2 sons, Justin and King Combs, they are now involved in it, as well as Stevie J and some other people, that is named in this lawsuit, in this case.
Man, it's crazy. It's crazy. All right, so this is what we're gonna do, Patrice. We're gonna listen to Fox Live. This is from this morning. Them talking about the Puffy situation. All right, let's see.
All right.
in Times Square, a different New York shot as we continue to talk about the very latest. We know in the first 9 months of 2023, Sean Diddy Combs triumphantly performed at the MTV VMAs, released an R&B album that received a Grammy nomination, and was a suitor to buy the BET network. But several lawsuits filed late last year raised allegations of sexual assault and rape against Combs, one of hip-hop's most recognizable names as a performer and producer. The music mogul's homes in Los Angeles and Miami were searched Monday by federal agents with Homeland Security investigators and other law enforcement. Officials saying the searches were connected to an investigation by federal authorities in New York City. Joining us live this morning to further explain is Fox 5 New York's Lisa Evers. And Lisa, it's been quite a week with Diddy headlines. How are you separating the news from social media, tsunamis, to gossip?
I think that's what we need to do first and foremost, because we have to separate these two periods before this raid, these raids on his homes in Los Angeles and Miami that happened last Monday, from what we're hearing and seeing on social media. All the social media platforms, people seem to be coming out of the woodwork. Now, up until pre-Monday, the raids, he had 5 civil lawsuits filed against him. These are civil lawsuits. And it's important to keep in mind that even as of today, there are no criminal charges that we know of that are on public record against Sean Diddy Combs. Has he beaten cases in the past, like the 1999 gun case, which involved J-Lo at the time? Yes, but he has never been convicted of a crime. So that's important to keep in mind, because I think when you look at the volume, just the sheer volume of accusations, it's a backup dancer. It's somebody who was in the club. It's people who, the gentleman who was his music producer over the past year, Rodney Jones, known as Little Rod. There are all these allegations. And I think a lot of people, particularly in the hip hop community, up until that raid happened on Monday, they were basically saying, okay, well, these are civil cases. A lot of things can happen. People are seeking huge numbers, 7-figure settlements to settle these lawsuits. Maybe it's more about money. Maybe things got exaggerated to get a bigger award, that type of thing. However, what last Monday was basically a change, changed the whole game and took it into a very serious level, a federal law enforcement level. And not only did we have the raids that we saw in Los Angeles and Miami, but we also had Homeland Security and the Southern District of New York, which is the federal district that covers Manhattan and handles the federal court cases. It is known as one of the toughest jurisdictions in the United States, and the most seasoned prosecutors. It's the district that many of them aspire to work at because it has such a reputation.
Oh boy, it is not looking good for Mr. Combs. Not at all.
No, it's not, brother. And when you go back 30 years of where it all started and the things that he absolutely got away with from the beginning, because he's always either paid someone off and not be criminally charged, or have someone else take the fall for him. You can start from if the FB to it and go back there, going to probably go back 30 years of where he even got his start with where he got the money from to even start Bad Boy Records. That goes back to ties with BMF, and alleged money borrowed, through that organization. When you talk about going back 30 plus years, you talk about the college tragedy where 9 people lost their lives and was stampeded in a event that he gave along with Andre Harrell and Heavy D. And there was no criminal charges, and 9 people lost their lives because
both of them are dead, by the way.
Exactly. And Harrell and Heavy D, God rest their souls, are deceased, but there was never any criminal charges for 9 people losing their lives because people were paid off. Then you go from that, you go to the club shooting where, you know, J-Lo, he was with J-Lo during the time. And the lady that was shot in the face absolutely said that Diddy was the one doing the shooting. She always said that. She never wavered from that. In some kind of way, there was no criminal charges for Diddy. Shine ended up doing 10 years for that, in which he has, got out and got paid very well, you know, from Diddy, but they made it look like it was through the record label, and Shine allegedly having an album when he comes out. So he was paid so many millions of dollars, but they had to make it look legal. But it actually allegedly, I'm gonna say allegedly, came from Diddy. That woman has always said it was Diddy that did the powing. She saw it, she witnessed it, she knew who it was that did it. So when you look at 3 major charges criminally where he should have been held accountable for, he always fell under the radar, you know, and people were afraid of him because that lady was saying up until recently she was still being harassed by Diddy, because she was one of the ones that was able to, he had to pay her out of pocket. He got a $1.8 million lawsuit, you know, that she won against him. And she said he would always harass her. Her tires would be slashed for years. Years this woman was taunted allegedly by him when she won the lawsuit. So when you look at allegedly, and then, you know, when Diddy found out that Kid Cudi was liking Cassie and was talking to Cassie, it's alleged that, you know, Diddy blew up his vehicle, right? I mean, and Kid Cudi admitted to it happening, but of course they couldn't tie it to Diddy, but they've known Diddy to have ties to people. And that's why I think that a lot of people was afraid of him. A lot of people didn't speak out, and a lot of people that the other side of the people that didn't speak out is because they were absolutely involved in some of the activities that was going on, from the freak offs to some of the other possibly illegal things that these allegations are against him now, right? So I think it's both sides of the coin when it comes to that.
All right, let's look at it a little more.
So they basically said this is under an investigation from our office. So it's an investigation that started out of New York, but they were going through the Los Angeles home, going through the Miami home. And so far, from what we know, again, officially on the record, not from what people are saying or what people are saying on blogs, blog posts, or the different social media platforms, is that no, he hasn't been charged. There was a man that was charged in Miami this week, who's the alleged drug mule for him. That's what they're calling him. But as of now, there are no charges, criminal charges filed against him. Now, I spoke with some of my federal contacts and federal sources to find out what's really going on here, because, you know, Gina, when we have a crime, when we see a crime being committed, the crime will be committed, there's an investigation, and then a lot of times we'll see a various police or sheriff's department, they're making the apprehension, they're taking the people, you know, somebody into custody for that particular crime. In the federal law enforcement arena, it's very, very different. They do their investigation. They do a lot of investigation. So people are like, oh, well, they raided the house and nothing happened. That was nearly a week ago. That doesn't mean the investigation is over by any means, or that Diddy is in the clear. It just means that they are doing what they need to do.
All right. Ooh. All right, so
it's a lot.
Well, let me say this. The feds don't usually go unless they got an overwhelming evidence that something has occurred, right? And then they don't
evidence. Some type of evidence.
Some type of evidence. Now, they won't say what it is, but they will definitely, they're not going to go in and raid somebody's property unless they're sure, or they're not sure. Let me take that back. Unless they are confident that there's evidence and other evidence to corroborate the evidence they already have that's going to be there in there. In other words, if they didn't think they could get any of this evidence or get any corroboration, I don't think they would have went into not only his LA house, but his Miami house. Now, I know where his LA house is, right here on Mapleton, right? It's right there on the Wilshire, as you go into the Wilshire corridor. I know exactly where that is. It's around the corner from Hugh Hefner's house and Michael Jackson's old house, right there. So,
Yeah.
So my point is this: there must be some real serious. It must be some real serious people talking to the FBI, telling them where they can go and find stuff to corroborate the things that they've been saying for them to go into the house. Would you agree with that? Patrice?
Absolutely. I think that it's people that was. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I might need to get on my my other device because I don't know. Everything seems like my laptop is like a delay or something. But I agree. I think the people that has come forward absolutely was there to witness or see something, or they were either involved themselves and they're speaking up, maybe to strike a deal or something, but I definitely think just like Cassie was a witness, was a participant in a lot of the things she saw and knew a lot of things, right? So absolutely, I agree that these people that are talking to the FBI are people that know what they know. And I do want to make something clear too, because when I went back and alluded over 30 years ago when Diddy started Bad Boy, it was alleged that he did get the money, and I know he had ties to BMF. But Risa, you're correct. Gene Deal did say that it's alleged that Puffy got the money from Wolf, which was a good friend of Diddy to start Bad Boy, and that was a debt that he never paid Wolf back because Wolf had told Diddy, allegedly, from what Gene is saying, that if anything ever happened to him, to give the money to his mother. And I think it was either $300,000 or $500,000. I can't remember the number. But and then of course Anthony Wolf Jones ended up getting unalived, and Diddy never paid that debt that he owed Wolf. He never paid that debt to his mother. So I think that was one of the things that that Gene was very upset with Diddy about.
Yeah. Now what we're gonna get into later is this is all centered around lust, right? This whole situation is centered around lust, meaning that the man was able to achieve his maximum lust, right? I mean, he was able to achieve that. He was able to yeah, Patrice pop herself back in. He was able to build a life around his lust, meaning that he was able to have these different, allegedly, have these different situations going on because it was so many people on the payroll. And if you make enough money, you can go to the top of your lust. You can fulfill your especially in America your most perverse desires. You can achieve them in America. There's always somebody that will take that money, so you can achieve it, right? Now the question is, was it right or was it wrong? Did he make somebody do something, or did they agree to do something? Those are the issues that we need to figure out. And in some cases, even if they agree,
Mhm.
sometimes they're talking about underage children, right?
Yes. Can you hear me okay,
Yeah,
brother?
you're fine.
Okay. I had to get on another device because my laptop is acting crazy for some reason. Yeah, but I agree. Listen, I have no problem with anybody that want to engage in any type of alternative lifestyles as long as they are grown, consenting adults. The
Okay.
problem comes in when it's our underage people that are involved, underage children, underage teenagers, and the like, right? And this is what is being alleged
Yeah.
by Lil Rod in his lawsuit, right? Because I am listen. Diddy has been well. I've got many friends that went to Diddy parties, right? I have never went to one personally myself, but I have many friends that have been to Diddy's parties. I have many friends that are in alternative lifestyles, right? So I have no problem with that, but they are consenting adults, right? They've been doing that, whether they involved in threesomes, whether they involved in swinging, whether they involved in orgies, whether they're involved in any of those things, as long as it's consenting adults, right? But
I,
listen, I mean, it is what it is. But
I,
when it's underage, teenagers or children that are involved. And we cannot forget the alleged allegations that, have been out for years regarding Diddy's relationship with Usher, Diddy's relationship with Justin Bieber, right? They were
right.
all underage when they came under Diddy's tutelage through the Diddy Flavor Camp, right?
Yeah.
So when we look at that's a whole different aspect. If we looking at trafficking, now let's be clear because trafficking can apply to adults too. It doesn't matter if you are illegally against that person's will, trafficking them from one state to another or internationally across state lines. That is a crime. It doesn't matter if the person is an adult or not. If they are unwillfully and non-consenting in that action, and they are being trafficked in any way against their will. So if things like that can be proven, that's a different story. If it's underage, that's a different story. Other than that, it can be consenting adults engaging in whatever sexcapades that they want to engage in. That's consenting adults. But if it's anything on those tapes that are damaging, whether it's anything illegal going on regarding minors or regarding contraband or paraphernalia, illegal paraphernalia, that's a whole different point.
Well,
Subject.
here's the question. Here's the question, Patrice. Were they were they were they forced to comply? Were they forced to participate, or did they participate at the time because they felt like they were going to get something out of it at the end, and because they didn't get what they was expecting, now they're coming up and saying all of this stuff? See, that's the question that the feds are going to have to answer that question because,
Well, mm-hmm,
well, let me say this: Cassie, she has a lot of credibility at this point, right?
mm-hmm,
So she's the main one saying, "Hey, this was happening against my will. I was being drugged and this and that," right?
mm-hmm.
So, so the main question is, okay, if that was happening to you, how many times did that have to happen to you before you were able to make the decision to leave, right? Because the average person would be like, "Oh, I'm getting done wrong. I'm out," right? So why didn't you see these are questions that's going to have to be answered so we can get to the bottom of what's going on. Not saying that he's innocent, but just
Why didn't you see?
why aren't the people leaving when when they're experiencing this bad treatment? Why don't they just roll? So
Mm-hmm.
that's a question that's going to have to be answered. Let me do some shout outs real quick, Patrice. Let me shout out to Lady Q. Quantum Love is back. Shout out to Quantum. Good to have you in the building, sis. Good to see you. Who else in the building? Who else in the building? Trey Ferg. Shout out to Trey Ferg. Trey says, like always, once a black man stops making money for their masters, they come after him and take all his money. I don't know, man. I think he was always making money for Clive
That's
Davis.
so funny.
He was always putting money in Clive Davis' problem. So I don't know. Maybe he said there's no evidence that he's proving that he's guilty. Not that we know of. Not that we know
Yeah.
of. We
And
definitely
now,
have evidence. Well, let me say this. We
go ahead.
definitely have evidence that he was doing something wrong, because why would he have paid out Cassie instead of wanting that, instead of letting that situation go through the court system? I mean, if he was confident, I didn't do nothing wrong, why did he pay that off? Sound like polite, right? Oh, he's innocent, right? But I'm
And
gonna
let's
take this
look
plea
and
deal.
and like I said, let's go back. 30 years ago when he first
Shout out
got
to
his start.
Lazine, by the way.
When he first got his start out, it wasn't no masters then. It wasn't a Caucasian master puppeteers pulling strings for him then. He started out from humble beginnings, giving those college parties, right, at Howard and things like that, because he actually went to Howard. There was nobody pulling those strings for him then. When he was with Uptown, that was ran by Andre Harrell, right? And he worked for Andre Harrell. So when the whole college stampede happened, he was working for Uptown, and that's when Andre Harrell fired him over the whole college thing, because Andre Harrell had to chalk up a lot of money to pay off, the victim families of said, and probably pay off some people in the criminal system to not get any criminal charges, right? So there was nobody pulling those strings then doing the club shooting. There was no puppeteers then pulling those strings. Now, when you want to talk about when the masters start to come in, now you're talking when he made the deal with Arista Records. Now you're talking about the Clive Davis, right? So he comes in with money given to him allegedly by his friend Anthony Wolf Jones under the Bad Boy label, but he needed distribution through Arista Records. So he had to make the deal with Clive Davis, who became his business partner / alleged lover. It's alleged for many years that Diddy and Clive Davis were also lovers. So I don't know. Is that considered a master? So now he's allowed to come into a certain amount of power by having access to Clive Davis, who was already a multimillionaire. And now as he continued to escalate up the ladder, and let's not act like our culture didn't put this man on the pedestal, did not be a part of creating the monster that he was. Not see, and this is the problem with our community. We don't, the same thing, like we don't want to take the responsibility of the part we played into the whole gangster rap thing. We don't want to take the accountability when we create these monsters. We help create these monsters. Then they come into power, right? Through other people that have more power than them, that is not the same color as them. Now you're talking the master puppeteers that are pulling the strings of the Diddy's of the world, right? And of course, when you piss them off, which he allegedly did when he filed that lawsuit against Diego, right, for racism and things of that nature, then it doesn't matter how wealthy you are and how black you are, they're gonna show you your ninja card regardless. They're gonna call you out. They don't care that you are almost a billionaire or you a multimillionaire. They're going to show you your ninja card every time when you come at them. So in that aspect, yes. Is there higher powers that probably has been involved with a lot of his alleged allegations? Absolutely. But we know that the behavior escalated with him in and of itself way before those said masked puppeteers came into play. Did he have been escalating from a narcissistic, abusive, sociopathic behavior for a long time? And the more he came into power, the worse he got. And that's just the truth. And
Okay.
there were people. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Patrice, this is the thing. The people love a rags to riches story. They love it. They fell in love with this man because he had a rags to riches story. He started off, he was just from the ghetto like everybody else. And he pulled himself up off of his bootstraps, right? So the people fell in love with him. They didn't know all this stuff was going on behind the scenes. Just like Jim Jones, just like David Koresh, they didn't know this stuff was going on. But now here's the bad part about us as black people. When we do find out, right? When the rumblings get big enough to where we find out, we still stick with the person.
Yep.
We still
Just
stick with them.
just like they did R. Kelly. Did they not? I mean, there were so many people around him for so many years that we knew. A lot of people in the industry knew a lot of the things that R. Kelly was doing allegedly that was close in proximity to him. Even though we on the outside hearing the rumors, all we know is that these are rumors, but we are believing these rumors, but we don't have the power, right, to go to the police because we're not witness to nothing. We only can say, hey, this is rumored, right? The same thing was with us when it came to Diddy. But now when his artists start coming out speaking against him about how he was cheating them out of royalties and publishing and things of that nature, then it's like, oh, but then you still had Diddy loyal fans,
right,
that was still going to bat for him, like some of them are now. And it's funny, the majority of them are black men. And I'm sorry, this is the problem that we have, because when it's our black men that continue to perpetuate and be and cap and cape for this man, it just speaks volumes to the behavior and the mindset that some of these men have, because they have been knowing that these things have been going on for decades. But it was okay. It was okay. And it was not said. Again, like I said, it took a woman to implicate herself and engulf herself into that lawsuit to say, this is what this man is doing to me and to so many other people. And you had majority of these men that were black that was around Diddy that knew this, and they said nothing. They acquiesced, they engulfed and engaged, whether it was through fear or through volunteer, with like you see some of the men now, like Cuba Gooding Jr. We know that a lot of these men that are being implicated in this lawsuit are in close proximity to him. A lot of the people that worked around him, his assistants, his chef had to sue him for being exposed to some things that she didn't want to be exposed to. So when people do speak out, and he settled with the chef who was a female. So when people do speak out, he have paid people under the table to shut up and go away. But for the ones that actually acquiesced and perpetuated it and became procurers of said crimes, then yeah, they knew about it for decades and didn't say anything. Just like the same with R. Kelly, the same type of people that allowed and helped R. Kelly do the things that he did as well.
I think one of the main motivators is that everybody's getting money. Everybody's getting money. And I think once the money stops flowing, that's when the lips start flapping. You know, people start talking once the money stops flowing. It's because we saw that in R. Kelly's situation, right? When once he couldn't make these payments that he was supposed to be making, these hush payments, now everybody's mouth started coming open and everybody started talking about all of the stuff behind the scenes, what was going on, right?
So, right, and then like Lil Rod, I mean, even if he, just say for instance, he is guilty for having some alleged relationship with Diddy, right? Diddy allegedly promised him a Grammy, promised him money, promised him this, promised him that, and reneged on whatever the said agreement or promise was. Now you got a jilted employee / possible lover, right? So if you don't produce the things that you say you promised me you were gonna do for me or give me or what, okay, now I'm gonna out you. This happens in regular relationships. So let's not act like this is something that is oddly done. People do that in regular relationships. They try to you have guilted ex-friends or lovers or whatever. If something was promised to them and the person reneges on it, or they jilted over the relationship and they got some kind of way that they got information on that person, they're gonna expose it. That's done in everyday relationships with people. The only difference is these are wealthy people. This is a person that has resources and access to a lot of things when it comes to the entertainment industry. So and I'm just using this as an example to say, even if Lil Rod was allegedly his lover or whatever. He didn't produce whatever it is he promised to Lil Rod. So Lil Rod is saying, okay, I got something for you. This is what it's going to be. I'm going to help take your empire down. And while I'm doing it, I'm going to implicate everybody that I know was involved in it. And I'm going to let them know that I know some of your deepest, darkest secrets, that you got tapes hid in the walls and you got this and that and all of this going on. He named names the same way Cassie implicated herself, right? But the thing in the lawsuit, because in Lil Rod, they threw everything but the kitchen sink in there, right? So in the case with Lil Rod is saying that I was able to be exposed to these things, including this alleged powing that happened in the studio with Diddy and his son Justin, and Lil Rod was there to witness this person get pow, which is allegedly Justin Combs' best friend, some kind of way. He said, they lied and tried to say it was a drive-by. It happened outside the studio, and Lil Rod is saying, no, I was there. I witnessed it. It happened inside the studio. So it's so many illegal things that had maybe Little Rod got his way, he absolutely may have shut his mouth and not said nothing, but he didn't. And that's the thing. And it's no more than any other jilted lover, jilted employee, jilted anybody that is now mad at because they didn't get something. So now I'm going to tell everything I know.
Yeah. And it's pretty bad for him. And I don't see how he's going to get around it. I mean, because they can go to Cassie's civil suit and bring her in. They can bring so many people he paid off in to talk about what actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
Because the feds can override a gag order. So I mean, they can do whatever they want to do, man. So it's going to be a ugly situation for him. Now, my thing is, how did we get here? How did we get here? Like you said, okay, we started out doing parties at Howard and the black universities, right? We started out doing that. How did we get from that to where we are today with all these freak off parties and all that? How did we get there? Right?
You're talking about decades of sweeping things under the rug, decades of paying people off, decades of other people acquiescing into the behavior. You talking decades of all. And I want to respond to Teresa because she says a Grammy, come on, he can't promise. Yes, he can. And I'm going to tell you why. If you are in cahoots and close proximity to the people that run the Grammys, why do you think people has complained for many years about certain people winning Grammys, the same artists over and over again? It's because people like Clive Davis and Diddy was actually sitting on the committees and paying for people to win the Grammys. See, it's a lot of things that y'all don't know, y'all speak on, and you have no knowledge on. And I know this personally because a friend of mine sat on the Grammys and told me that that's how it is ran and it is run. You have people that pay for people to win Grammys. Diddy was up, that album was up for a Grammy. So he had to have some inside knowledge of knowing that his album would have won a Grammy. So if he wins a Grammy, anybody that has anything to do with that album wins the Grammy. That is how that works. Okay, that is the industry. They have been doing it for years, and Clive Davis especially has been guilty of that, have been actually guilty of paying for his artists to win Grammys.
Well, I know
so that is how that happens. I just wanted to explain that because people don't know a lot of the nuances that goes on behind the scenes when it comes to these awards. Why do you think so many other artists was speaking up on the awards, was protesting the awards, was things of that, because it was being controlled by people who was paying for their artists on their record labels to win said Grammy?
I don't know. I think you're right. I think a lot of people don't understand, but I don't think that's what she meant. I think what she was saying was that They should have known better. A person like the person that he promised a Grammy to, they should have known better. They should have said, how can this dude promise this? You know what I mean? Even if you got people sitting on the board, you can't just, I mean, you can't promise somebody a Grammy, right? That's even if you got some people on the board.
Diddy knew if this situation hadn't came up, and I'm not messing with you, Risa. I'm reading the chat, so I have a right to respond to anything anybody puts in the chat. So it's not. What do you mean, leave you alone? I'm not messing with you. I'm just responding to the comment. No, I'm explaining how that can actually happen when there are people that pays for their artists, pays for certain people to win because they have certain connection to said award shows. They can listen. If this not had have happened, he would have won. His album would have won a Grammy. I am telling you. Listen, they started when Cassie's lawsuit came out. They told Diddy, his PR team, and other people, you need to clean up your act behind this. Why do you think Diddy started giving Howard $1 million, donating, starting a school of this and that? He's trying to clean up this persona because he knew that he had access to the Grammys and that his album would win a Grammy, right? Had not this whole situation unfold. I'm trying to explain the way things happen behind the scenes that you guys have no knowledge of, that people like artists have started to complain about when it comes to the Grammys. The year that Alicia Keys won all of those Grammys is because, and I'm going to say allegedly for the sake of legal reasons in the panel, but it's alleged and everybody knew that Clive Davis paid millions of dollars for his artists on J Records to win Grammy.
Yeah, I think
that's all I'm saying.
I think we all understand that. I think I think she was coming from the perspective of you shouldn't be that gullible. Like you know what I'm saying? Even though they do that, you ain't gonna be that person. You're not that person. So you're not Mariah Carey. You're not Whitney Houston. Nobody. If you're not that person, nobody's gonna.
You don't have to be. That's the thing. You don't have to be a Mariah Carey or a Whitney Houston win to get Grammy. All you have to do is be in close proximity and have the resources to be close to a Clive Davis, who you are an artist on his label J Records. When he left Arista and had J Records, when they fired him from Arista and he started J Records, Alicia Keys was his artist. That year she won. She beat out, I think, like India.Arie. She beat out, what's the girl? I like her name, the young, I can't think of her name. I see her face. But so Jasmine Sullivan, she beat out a lot of those artists. That's what I'm saying, because it is alleged behind the scenes, guys, in the music industry, that this is what Clive Davis and the Diddy's and the likes have been doing for many, many years, is paying for their artists to win the Grammy.
Patrice, we agreed here. I agree with you. And somebody like Alicia Keys, yeah, I can see somebody pushing that person and doing everything right, but or Whitney Houston or Mariah Carey, I can see that. But just a person coming off the street and that person telling you, "Hey, I can get you a Grammy. Stick with me, you gonna get a Grammy," right?
Brother, it's Diddy. Listen, I just explained that it's Diddy the one that was going to win the Grammy. And do you know, when your album wins a Grammy, every writer, every producer, every artist on there wins the Grammy too.
I understand.
That's why he was able to promise him, because Diddy knew he would have won that Grammy had this crap not come into fruition.
Maybe so, Patrice. But what I'm saying is, I'm talking about Diddy promising somebody something, right? Diddy saying to the person, "Hey, look, I got Grammy. Yeah, I know how I can get you a Grammy. I got these people on the,
let's sit on the Grammy board."
Right. So, but what I'm saying is, you could see that I could see Clive Davis doing that for somebody who he felt that was marketable, right? Remember, he changed Whitney Houston's whole thing, changed Mariah Carey's whole thing. And I'm sure if you would have got to Alicia Keys, it would change her whole thing, right? So, but my point is, those people, you could see where he looked at them and said, "Hey, that person is worth putting my money behind on the Grammy board." But I'm talking about somebody like Puff, bringing a new person in, right? Because for the sole purpose of getting them involved with the sex thing, right? For the sole, that's his purpose. Now, the bait that he's going to use is, hey, girl, come on. Oh, you can sing. You sound good, right? I'll get you a Grammy and this and that, right? But I don't think that and I'm saying that the average person should probably know, if you the average person, you're not gonna get no Grammy. I don't care how good you can sing. You can't sing better than Mariah Carey. You can't sing better than Whitney Houston. You can't sing better than Alicia Keys. You may sound good, but those people are professionally trained and they know how to do it. So how is you gonna get a Grammy over them? See, that's what I'm saying. So to promise somebody a Grammy, and I think that's what's going on. We were just saying, not we, but I think Risa was saying that person shouldn't have been that gullible. I think that's where she was coming from. Because I don't think I know she know that.
Okay. Are you saying because you think Lil Rod was a new producer working with Puff, that he was gullible to think that if Puff say I can get you a Grammy, that he was gullible enough to believe that? Is that what you're saying?
I am.
I'm just trying to understand. Okay.
I'm
See,
saying,
this is.
I'm saying it like this. You gotta understand. You gotta understand and compare your work with the other people out there that got Grammys. If your work is comparable to that, then how can somebody promise you something? And even how can somebody promise you something that they allegedly have no control over? Right?
Oh
That's
God, I just said it.
no. Listen,
Puffy has control in the Grammys. Listen.
On the surface, Patrice, he don't. Right? On the surface, he's not supposed to. But I'm just saying, how can you promise something like that? Now, we know he got people on the board, but what I'm saying is, on the surface, he's not supposed to. So I'm not, see, it's just like, if you get a ticket, and my brother is a judge, and you're gonna, I must say, well, make sure you transfer your situation over to my brother. He'll I can't promise you that. I can say that, but how can, should you believe me? Should you put 100% stock in what I'm saying because I got that brother that's over there? Or should you say to yourself, that's possible, but I can't bank on that? Well, see, I think as men, we know we can't bank on stuff like that. We can't listen to pipe dreams and bank on what somebody else telling us, because we got a family that we got to take care of. So we can't bank on nobody.
Lil Rod can and did. Lil Rod can and did, and I'm gonna tell you why. Again, because of the proximity and power and resources that Puffy has had for years when it comes to people that sits on the Grammy board. So he can. And number two, Little Rod come from the gospel era. He has wrote and produced for people like the Clock Sisters and people like Smokey Norval. So he already had a hella a bio. See, this is things that people don't know. So it's not like he's some new artist. He was just in a different genre. He was in gospel. You guys, okay? But he was very well known. His whole family is musically known. They originally from Chicago, but they have worked with some of the greatest of the greats in the gospel sector. So he was an established producer and writer and arranger and composer.
Hold on,
okay?
Patrice. Hold on, Patrice.
So that's the difference. And the reason why he believed Puff is because of the power and assets that Puff had.
Patrice. Hold on one second. Quantum, I know they bank on it, but what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that they don't bank on it. I'm saying that they should not bank on it. I know that they do. That's why we're here where we're at, is that they bank on stuff like that. But what I'm saying is, you got to take a little bit of a more realistic look at it and say it's possible, but it could also not happen. Just because he's saying it could happen, there could be a twist could come up at any time, right? A twist could come up at any time. So that's all I was saying, Quantum. Go ahead, finish, Patrice.
No, that's all I wanted to say. And people can have their opinion, believe whatever they want. It's because I know how the industry works. Anything with the status and the resources and the relationships that Diddy had with people that sit on the Oscars, the Grammys, American Music Awards, BET, all of these awards, guys, because of his access and proximity to these people that run these organizations. He absolutely can possibly say it to Lil Rod, listen, my album, I ain't did an album in 20 years and now I'm doing this love album. You got some of the best producers, writers, artists on this album. He probably had already been in the know. Remember, you guys, he was already nominated for the Grammy. He probably already had a little vaccine thing to know he would have won in that category had all of this situation start happening,
who
because
was already nominated for the Grammy? Who was already nominated for a Grammy?
Diddy, the album was nominated.
Okay.
Like, this is what I'm saying. I'm saying he knew something, guys. He knew something on the back end, right? And
Oh,
this is why I'm saying that he was able to say what he said to Lil Rod and probably other artists and producers that was on that album. That's the only thing I'm saying. There was a lot of nuances that goes on behind the scenes when it comes to the Clive Davises of the world and the Diddy's of the world and the Jay-Z's of the world when
I
it
agree.
comes to that.
I agree with you. See, we're not having a dispute over whether he has people in the background and whether he's made these claims to these people. That's not what the dispute is. The dispute is on the person that he made the claim to. They have to be aware enough to know that a twist could come at any time in it. Oh man, I'm sorry this didn't happen. You know what I mean? But let's try again. Let's put another year in and let's try again. You know what I mean? A twist could come up at any time, right? I'm sure there's a long line of people that Puffy said stuff to where a twist came up, right? Where once he had them sexually, he just spit them out, right? He didn't want them no more, and he spit them out because that was his whole reason for bringing them in and giving them that whole line was because he wanted to get into a sexual situation with them. And once they got chewed up and spit out, they done, right? They didn't have no career. They didn't have no music lessons. They didn't have no singing lessons. They had no dancing lessons. All the stuff he gave to J-Lo to get her career, to make her career blast off, right? He didn't do none of that stuff to none of these people, but he promised them, I'll do this for you, right? Just like he did for Cassie, right? I'm gonna
Absolutely, because of who he was and the access that he had. The same way you're right, brother. The same way he promised all his other artists certain things and didn't deliver. Absolutely, I agree with that.
That's my point. So the person has to have in the back of their head, Patrice. What am I gonna do if this don't go right? See, we as men, we have to think like that. What if this don't go right?
So just take the Grammy off the table. Take the Grammy off the table, because I think we putting too much into that, because that's just an object. But it's access to. It's the Grammy is. Let me be clear. The access for Grammys and Oscar, all these awards, is access to better opportunities in the industry. But let's take that off the table. Say, for instance, the Grammy is not on the table. There was other things that he alleged in his lawsuit that was promised to him that he didn't deliver. And one of the main things was for that man to continue to be able to eat and his family to eat and him to continue to eat was the publishing guy. That was like really the main thing. When we know that whatever publishing deal that he had allegedly with Diddy reneged on the publishing, right? And when he asked for a certain access to a certain amount of publishing and didn't get it. Even before he did the lawsuit, I don't know if y'all know, he went on his Instagram and was asking for people to like a GoFundMe or something, because he was trying to raise legal money to be able to fight, because he knew that Diddy was a big conglomerate. Diddy gonna come with a lot of access and resources and funding. He knew that he didn't have, his money wasn't as long as Diddy's money, right? So he did that first, and then I guess after talking to legal representation, did his legal representation, said, no, don't do that. This is the way you need to go, because the floodgates are already open because of the alleged allegations from Cassie. And now you're seeing some similar things that Cassie has said in her lawsuit. So now you got more attorneys going to want to come and take a look at it, because a lot of people don't know it is women that tried and wanted to come forward on Diddy 20, 30 years ago, guys. But because they didn't have money and access to power like that man did, attorneys wouldn't even take their case. And that's facts. That's facts. And
when they find out who you suing, they won't take your case.
Exactly, because listen, it is alleged that Diddy had the NYPD on his payroll, some attorneys and judges on his payroll. When you have that type of money and power, you can get away with a lot of stuff. And time and decades has proven that he's been able to get away with a lot of stuff that he should have been criminally charged with years ago. So we all know that to be true.
Okay, so my thing is, okay, so we started with the college parties, and now we at this point. So I'm gonna get into, if you okay with it, Patrice, I'm gonna get into a little Bible reading, okay?
Okay.
Because I'm gonna show how, if you it start out small, right? Oh, we're gonna do some threesomes, we're gonna do an orgy here and there, and then it just grows and grows, and then it just gets out of hand. It just gets out of hand. The lustfulness gets out of hand. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna come back to this. Right now, I'm gonna go into, I don't know if y'all are familiar with a man named David. Hey, we're gonna be familiar with a man named David. You know what? Let's go back. Let's go back one. Let's go back to where. No, let me go back to where I was. Oh, no, that's not what I want. Okay, here we go. 2 Samuel 11. Can y'all see this? 2 Samuel 11, man. Give me a few minutes, Patrice. All right, so 2 Samuel 11, David and Bathsheba. Now, who is David? David was, remember the little boy that threw the rocks at the giant, knocked him down, right? Killed him. Everybody else was scared, but he threw them rocks and hit him right in the right spot, knocked him out. Well, he's a king now, right? And we're going to talk about how he got himself caught up. All right, so in the spring, at the time when the kings go off to war, David sent Joab out with the king's men and the whole Israelite army. Okay, they went out to go fight a war, right? People encroaching on their territory, they used to say, hey, look, we gotta put them down, right, before they try to take us over. They destroyed the Ammonites and besieged Rabbah. But David remained in Jerusalem, right? He's on cruise control. Everything's good, right? One evening, David got up from his bed and walked around on the roof palace. From the roof, he saw a woman bathing. Holy smokes. Who is that down there? The woman was very beautiful, and David sent someone to find out about her. The man said, she is Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam and wife of Uriah the Hittite. Then David sent messengers to go to get her. Now, it's somebody's wife. It's somebody's wife. David sent some people to get this man's wife. Huh? Come on. See, he started out all good. And sometimes you can start out good. Right, Puffy? They start out good. They got a good program. Polite, Dr. York, Jim Jones, David Correct. They start out with a good They always start out with a good program. They start out with a good message. Hey, we're going to change the world. We're going to make things better. Okay. He sent messages to her. So he's a king. She's like, hey, I got to go. This is the king. Maybe I can help. I can do something for the king. She came to him. Excuse me. and he slept with her. Whoop, stop. Wait a minute. Let's say that again. She came to him, right? She came to him, and he slept with her. Which one did the wrong in this? That's a point for another day of contention. Now, she was purifying herself from her monthly uncleanliness. Monthly uncleanliness? What's that? She had crackers on her crumbs? Cracker crumbs around her mouth? Then she went back home. So after David, busted her down, she went back home. The woman conceived. What? Wait, what? He had sex with her. She went back home, and then she conceived. So he got her pregnant and sent word to David saying, I'm pregnant. So David sent word to Joab, send me Uriah the Hittite. And Joab sent him to David. When Uriah came to him, David asked him how Joab was, how the soldiers were, and how the war was going. See, this man Uriah was on the front line. He was out there at wartime. His wife was at home by herself. He's out on a war campaign. Okay? But David sent for him. He was go up to the war front and bring this guy back. So Uriah is out here now, right? And so he's sitting in front of David. David's like, hey, yeah, how's your son Joab? How's the soldiers?
Excuse me, bro.
Yes.
Is this rabbit hole leading to something that it got to do with this topic at hand? Because I'm kind of confused.
Yes.
It's where you going with this? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Just let me know, because I'm like Ray Peel. I'm like, what that got to do with this? Okay.
I know it's hard for y'all, but y'all just trust me. Buckle your seatbelt. Y'all will see where I'm going in a minute, because I'm trying to show how you can start good. You can start out with a good plan, singing a good song, everything. And anybody can get corrupted, even one of God's most blessed. Any one of us, if we ain't paying attention, we could go off the line. So I'm trying to show you this. Now, let me get back to where I was reading. So David sent word to Joab, send me Uriah the Hittite. And Joab sent him to David. When Uriah came to him, David asked him how Joab was, how the soldiers were, and how the war was going. Then David said to Uriah, go down to your house and wash your feet. So Uriah left the palace, and a gift from the king was sent after him. But Uriah slept at the entrance to the palace with all his master's servants and did not go down to his house. Now, why was David trying to send him to the house? Because he wanted Uriah to have sex with his wife, to think that the baby that was conceived was from Uriah. Hold on to your hat, gang. I'm trying to show you how even one of God's most beloved can get all effed up in the head. You can see when you get all lustful, man, you can get all left up in the head. So he did one thing. He brought the woman in. He did another thing. He had premarital sex with her. He did another thing. He conceived a baby with her. Right? He busted the club up. Then he did another thing. He caught this man too, just to see where he was at, see if he kind of knew what was going on. The guy was like, about the war. He wasn't even thinking about his wife, because he knew his wife was at home and nobody was messing with her. So he thought. Little did he know that the king had dipped in there, and not only dipped her, got her pregnant, right? But see, this is David. Can we agree that David is one of God's beloved, most beloved? Huh? Okay, let's get back to it. He told David told the dude, hey, go down to your house and get yourself together, right? Basically, David wasn't gonna send him back out. He wanted to be with his wife, so he would think that the child that came out of her was conceived through him. He was tripping. David was tripping, right? David was told Uriah did not go home. So he asked Uriah, haven't you just come from a military campaign? Aren't you tired? You've been out there all day. You've been out there fighting this war. Come on, man. Come on. I'm giving you a break. I'm taking you out of the war. He said, why didn't you go home like I told you to? This is David telling Uriah, why didn't you go home like I told you to? Right? Uriah said to David, the ark and Israel and Judah are staying in the tents, and my commander Joab and my Lord's men are camped in the open country. How can I go to my house, eat and drink, and make love to my wife? As surely as you live, I will not do such a thing. In other words, Uriah was so down with the cause and so down with the cause of Israel, he was like, man, I'm not going to come home. Look, my buddies are out there risking their lives, and you want me to be here enjoying my wife? I don't roll like that. I don't roll like that. So this is what happens. See, when you are a lustful person and your lust get out there and your perversions get out there, man, and then you run into a man of substance. Uriah was a man of substance, right? Now David's like, what do I do now? What do I do now? This cat won't even go home. I'm basically taking him off the war path. He don't have to risk his life no more. I'm putting him home so he can go in there and be with his wife, and he don't want to do it because his people is out there. He got that much integrity. That even made David feel even worse, man. Like, that, this dude got integrity. So what do I do now? Uriah said to David, hey, look, okay. So 12, then David said to him, stay here one more day, and tomorrow I will send you back. In other words, you sleep in front of my castle one more time, I'm going to send you back out there. If you ain't going to be with your wife, I'm going to send you out there. Right? Uriah's like, hey, you do what you got to do. I'm not going to go and enjoy nothing while my friends are out there on the front line. My brothers are out there on the front line suffering. What if we was like that, man? What if we were like that about our people, man? Hey, you can't pay me no millions of dollars because my brothers are out here suffering. We ain't like that too much anymore, huh? Then David said to him, then David said to him, stay here one more day and I will send you back. So Uriah remained in Jerusalem that day and the next. And at David's invitation, he ate and drank with him, and David made him drunk. Ooh. Now David getting him drunk. Sound like Puff Daddy. Now he getting him drunk. So he can't make him do what he want to do when he's in his right mind. So now he's gonna get his mind off by making him drunk. Right? Like Puffy was giving these people drugs and alcohol and getting them to go do these orgies and stuff like that. See, it all ties in. It all ties in if your eyes are open. But in the evening, Uriah went out to sleep on his mat among his master's servants. He did not go home. See, he tried to make him drunk so he would just go home. He still didn't go home. He said, I'm not going to go sleep with my wife and enjoy my wife while my brothers are out there suffering. No, sir. In the morning, David wrote a letter to Joab and sent it with Uriah. In it, he wrote, put Uriah out on the front where the fighting is fiercest. Then withdraw him so he will be struck down and die. Whoa. They mean they're going to leave him out there. Right? They're going to leave him out there. They're going to put him all the way out there where the fighting is the fiercest, and they're going to step back and leave him out there. Man, David was effing up royally, right? Just like Puff Daddy, effing up royally. I'm going to drug you. I'm going to do all this. I'm going to videotape it. I'm going to get people to come in from other states, right? Because that's sex trafficking now. If you bring a person in from another state to have illegal sex with them, that's sex trafficking. We're going to get into that. But I wanted to show y'all we got to have our minds awake. We can't take what people take with us we got to take it with a grain of salt. We can't just say, oh, you Puff Daddy? Oh, you can do whatever you want? Oh, okay, well then I'm rolling with you. You got to always think in the back of your mind, man. I know how this business goes. I know it's a lot of creepos in this business. So I got to have my eyes open. I don't care what business you in. Okay, what business you in? Because these people are trying to get you. I'm sure Patrice could tell you that they invite you to these dinners and these lunches and all that. First, they start out with a lunch, then it's a dinner. Next thing you know, it's hey, we all go out to a movie. Then the people that was all supposed to go out with you, those people disappear, and now it's just you and that person. Come on, y'all, talk to me. All right, so here we go. So while Joab had the city under siege, he put Uriah at a place where he knew the strongest defenders were. When the men of the city came out and fought against Joab, some of the men in David's army fell. Moreover, Uriah the Hittite died. Right? So they put him in a spot and they didn't give him the backup that they needed, so they fell. Right? Joab sent David a full account of the battle. He instructed the messenger, when you have finished giving the king this account of the battle, the king's anger may flare up, and he may ask you, why did you get so close to the city to fight? Didn't you know they would shoot arrows from the wall? Who killed Abimelech, son of Jerub-Beshith? Didn't a woman drop an upper millstone on him from the wall so that he died in Thebez? Why did you get so close to the wall? If he asks you this, then say to him, moreover, your servant Uriah the Hittite is dead. All right, so that's where I want to leave it right there. Okay, so this man went to this man. He saw this man's wife. No, I'm not, Patrice. I just wanted. Some people are looking at this Puffy thing and they trying to figure out how they can do it without getting themselves caught up, and there's no way to do it. It's like the roommate switch. You like the one roommate, and then you meet the other roommate, and then you say, damn, that roommate is better than this roommate for me. How can I get off this roommate and get to but you can't. There ain't no successful way of switching off one roommate to the other room. It's just don't do it. Just walk away. But I wanted the people to understand, whether they want to accept it or not. I want the people to understand that, hey, you know what? You got to watch who you hanging out with. You got to watch who you dealing with. And this can happen to anybody. I don't care if you Puff Daddy or R. Kelly or Dr. York or Bill Clinton or Donald Trump or whoever you are. If you're going and hanging out with people that's going to create issues, you're going to get caught up in an issue, right? Because, I mean, we could sit here and talk about Puff Daddy and but what's the lesson to get out of this? What is the lesson? The lesson is we got to watch who we talking to. We got to watch who we talking about. Because if we don't watch who we talking about or who we hanging with, damn, we going to get caught up, right? And it don't matter how much, and I didn't even go into the fact that the baby that came out of the Bathsheba died. It died because of the way David was handling himself. But that's a whole nother issue. I ain't gonna go into that. But the point is, you do bad things gonna happen. You're gonna get bad results. Now, that was my point. I wanted to get into it to share with the people that, hey, just try your best to stand your ground, stand on your square. When a dude like Puff Daddy come to you and say, hey, Patrice, you know what? I want you to come to this party I'm having. What should you say? Well, a person like R. Kelly, hey, I want you to come to this party I'm having. What should you say? It's at my house. What should you say? And you trying to get into business. What should you say? Vaughn said, did you see the footage of how they ransacked his home? Man, they really tore that place apart. Vaughn, you know how the police do. Most of our young men, they know how the police do, man. When the police come to your house and they say, hey, we got a search warrant, trust me, it ain't gonna look like Aunt B was cleaning up in there. Everything's gonna be everywhere. Drawers gonna be everywhere. Everything's gonna be everywhere.
Well, this was the FBI, if I can interject here, and they had a different angle. When they go and raid, they're specifically looking for something based off of any type of evidence or anything that someone has told them where allegedly that Puff was allegedly hiding these things, meaning in walls, in computer systems, and things of that nature. That's why they had to ramshack his walls and his flooring and anything that had anything to do with any electronic devices. They took all the devices of his. They confiscated computers, laptops, iPads, phones, anything of that nature. So when they do that, they're specifically looking for something, and where they know that that's possible that he hides something. His vaults. He had vaults where he had what you call, the vaults where you keep cash and jewelry, and things of that nature. And he had a secret room. There was a secret room found there where some things was confiscated as well. So they were specifically looking for something.
But no, what I'm saying, Patrice, is I don't care if it's the state police, I don't care if it's the city police, I don't care if it's the feds, whoever, the county, I don't care whoever. If they're gonna search your property, man, they're gonna pull everything out of everywhere. It's gonna look like a wreck when they get done.
Oh, absolutely. I agree totally. But again, the FBI went specifically to look for the incriminating evidence, which was video, pictures, recordings, hard drive, like anything of that nature where there's incriminating evidence, of course. So they know that people hide those things in walls and floorings and secret compartments and secret bunkers. Even when they went underneath his home and found the water tunnels, they have to even look into the water tunnels because were he doing something illegal there, like trafficking any type of paraphernalia, any type of human trafficking, any type of pow trafficking. All of that could allegedly be done under the radar as well. So that's why they had to ramshack and tear his place up the way that they did.
Well, they always do that. So maybe not. Maybe in a certain place they don't tear the floors up. But I mean, whenever they do a raid, they're gonna pull all the drawers out. They're gonna knock the TVs over. They're gonna do all of that. It's gonna look like a hurricane went through there. Even those of us as black men, we know when they stop us and they say, "Hey, look, they pull you out of your car." And this is when you don't know your rights, right? You know that you don't have to give them permission. They're gonna ask you, can we search your car? If you just say no, they make it sound like you're gonna go to jail if you say no. But you don't have to give them the right to search your car unless they investigating the crime that is related to the inside of your car. They say you were carrying a gun or whatever. But if you don't give them the permission to search your car, they can't search it, right? So, but sometimes, most of the time, we young, especially they stop us when we're young.
Well, if they have a warrant, they can.
But but I'm saying outside of them having a warrant, I'm talking about a traffic stop.
Okay.
Traffic stop, right? They traffic stop. They stopping you to just say, "Hey, look, man," or they stopping you because you ran a light or whatever. They try to pull everything out your car and have it all over on the street. I mean, I think the average black man been through that a couple of times at least, right? Where they say, "Hey, we're just gonna take a look in your car. Is that okay?" Most of the time, what we do, we say yes because we think, man, we don't have no choice in the matter. But you do have a choice in the matter. and they can't take you to jail because you say no. But that's a whole nother story. That's
Right.
another thing. We talk about getting your rights together. But I'm saying I've been there where they have everything out there. Everything is out there on the ground. Everything you
But
had in the car is out there.
it's
So
funny now because a lot of people that were friends with Diddy, like Naomi Campbell and people like that that have partied and probably know some things. It's funny how they started unfollowing him on their social media platforms. They are disassociating themselves with him now. It's funny how that is, but I find it very, 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 very alarming or eyebright, raising as to the behavior now. And then the rest of the people that are very, very quiet is because I think that if they know that it could be something incriminating them that may be on some video footage. The difference between the way they raided and did Diddy and his sons, but see, this is another thing I want to say. I don't know if Diddy got tipped off or know that this raid was coming, but his sons were left there, right? And his sons were handcuffed and stuff outside. You can see, from the helicopter cameras and things. His sons was handcuffed, and they were laughing. They thought things was funny. And I had said, I don't know if he knew, but if he knew, I thought that would have been real crazy for him to leave his sons behind. I know he was on his way to do a vacation with his twin daughters, right? Somewhere when they caught him in Miami at the airport. But yeah, just the difference in the way his home was possibly raided as opposed to when they raided Epstein's property on the island there. I'm wondering because I don't recall seeing pictures. I don't know, maybe someone else did. I don't recall seeing pictures of ramshack walls being pulled out, wires everywhere, stuff all over the floor. I don't remember seeing Epstein's property photos of him, his properties in that type of array or ramshack. I don't know, maybe someone else did, but I do know it was a difference, and I think in a way that Epstein's island was raided as opposed to Diddy's properties, if that makes sense.
I mean, I could understand that and the reason why I could say that is obviously he wasn't a black man, Epstein, but two, I think that he had many, many, many more law enforcement and law people in the law business, the law game, in that little book that he had. I think he had more influence on how they were going to administer what they were doing.
You talking about Epstein?
Yeah, Epstein, as opposed to Puffy, who didn't really. I mean, I'm sure he has influence in the world, but I don't think he got it like that. Like
No, not like Epstein. Yeah, and Epstein, they didn't never officially release all the names that was in Epstein's flight log and black book. Now they have confiscated Diddy's flight log, right?
Yeah.
So that remains to be seen too, as to who all was allegedly transported on his private plane, right? As well. And the difference is, and it's so crazy because with Epstein, they had several was supposed to be alleged false or phony flight logs that was released out to social media, because a lot of people that whose name was on there saying that they had never even been to Epstein Island, like Whoopi Goldberg, for instance. Her name was on Epstein flight log, and she was like, I never a day in my life went to Epstein Island. So I don't know. It's just funny how we're going to see the difference in how they're going to protect the people that they protected under Epstein, right? As opposed to how they may expose the people under Diddy's flight log and things of that nature. So this is going to be interesting to see the difference of how he's going to be treated as opposed to how Epstein and Weinstein was treated.
Yeah, I think that they're going to, because I think Weinstein and Epstein were on another level. As far as the types of people that they were engaging daily or engaging in, I think definitely Puffy was up there, but I don't think he was on the same level of like Weinstein. Senators, lawyers, doctors, judges, stuff like that. Weinstein was kicking it with those kind of people. I don't think Puffy is so much kicking it with those kind of people. I think he's kicking it with influential people in the media, but as far as like judges, and I think Weinstein had like a what do you call that, a Mason type thing going on, where the top level of the community was hanging out there, the lawyers, the doctors, the judges, and so on and so forth. I think it was at a whole nother level with the Epstein situation. But we'll see.
Yeah, I see. Vaughn posted a link to what they did to Diddy's home, and I think that TMZ was allowed to go in there and take pictures of these photos, from my understanding. But yeah, you're right. We will see, but I do think it'll be a difference. But and the chat is correct. There are different type of warrants for different type of situations, but when it comes to things like the trafficking and things of that nature, the rabbit hole goes deeper, because anybody that was probably named in those lawsuits, whether it be Cassie's or Lil Rod, they're gonna have to be investigated too, and there may be warrants regarding their properties and things of that nature as well. So the rabbit hole is definitely going to go deep. It's not going to be anything that happens overnight. This is going to be long drawn out, the same way Epstein's was, because remember, Epstein was allowed to go home, continue
That's my
working,
point.
continue
See?
doing what he was doing. And that's the same thing though. I mean, Diddy's a free man. He hasn't been charged with anything. So right now he is free to do and go about as he wants to do.
Right.
But that will remain to be seen. But I would like to definitely see the video of that.
All right, y'all. Let's get back to the video. Let's see. Vaughn said, "Brady, let's play the video." You right, Vaughn. Let's play the video and see what else they got to say.
In this particular case, knowing that it's so high profile, I'm sure that they're going to be going extra hard, extra careful to make sure they do everything by the book. Now, let's talk about that raid again. The Los Angeles home. We saw these heavily armored vehicles coming down a residential street in one of the most affluent, wealthiest areas of Los Angeles. They're going there. It's broad daylight. The officers, the Homeland Security agents, they're in full tactical gear. That some of them have long guns, and they're going up there. So I spoke with a former Homeland Security official, investigator, and he told me that one of the only way that they could have done that is if they had warrants that were based on evidence or testimony from other people saying that in this particular room there was this, in this particular room this happened, or in this particular room there were hidden cameras, which has been an ongoing allegation throughout the civil cases, and also, of course, in the popular culture and on social media. But he said that they had to have a very specific.
Okay. Is it illegal for him to have hidden cameras in his house? Does anybody?
Well, this is the thing. Now, hidden cameras, I'm not sure. And I think it depends on the state and the law that they have regarding having someone, because if you invite somebody to your house or something, and and you got hidden cameras or whatever, for whatever reason, I don't know if that's against the law, or if that's a law at all in where I guess that was Florida or wherever. I guess it depends on the state. Can you have hidden cameras? I'm assuming you can. It's your property or whatever. But
of course you can.
Right, because you may be trying to catch somebody, especially if you're wealthy and invite people to your house. You don't know who roaming around your house, who might be trying to steal property or whatever. So I can see why people would have that. But if you're having it for the reasons of you're taping people without their consent while you're doing these freak offs, or you're doing these illegal paraphernalia and contrabands, then that may be a different story. Then that's the part that is a crime.
Yeah, because now, if you're using them, they're assisting you in committing a crime, that's when it becomes a problem. That's when it's illegal, right? So now they need those cameras and the locations to bolster their case. that some illegal activity was going on. The camera was catching this illegal activity, and now you know
Right.
it's
And it has also been known that in the industry, you guys, and I've told stories yourself that, a lot of times a lot of these people in the music industry make these artists and people certain offers, and they catch them in compromising positions, and when they acquiesce to those compromising positions, they have them on video, and they literally hold that as leverage over them in blackmailing them to getting what they want out of them. That has been going on for years as well.
yeah. And so that's the thing. I agree. Sister Annie said, I would think that it's what you do with the footage. Blackmailing what you video would seem a bit criminal. Yes, but if you're videoing a crime, that's a crime right there. That makes it a crime, right there. If you're just that's what got R. Kelly in his first problem, right? He was with somebody that was underage.
Well, the girl was underage. That was a crime in and of itself.
That was a
Whether it
crime.
was videotaped or not, that was a crime.
Right. That was a crime, but the video itself became part of the crime, right? Because the video was the documentation that he was spent time with, the alleged victim, right? The victim in the case. So I think that's and the people saying that, hey, he's got tons of video of people doing these things. Now the question is, who else is on these tapes? Just like Epstein. Epstein had no choice but to take himself out. He had no choice, because once they started asking him who did what and where and who, he would have had to name names, and he would have just been done.
Well, this is the thing. I also think that depending on who is alleged on these tapes and pictures, and when Diddy get to be questioned, I think that Diddy is in the same exact position possibly as Epstein.
You think so?
And I can't, oh, absolutely. And I can't see men like them surviving in prison for 30, 40, 50 years. I believe that it's a possibility that Diddy will do the same thing that Epstein did to himself. What's alleged that he did to himself is the self-unaliving because of what he knows, and is he going to talk and different things. If this rabbit hole goes that deep, when from what Gene Deal said, when the college stampede happened, Diddy was ready to unalive himself back then because he thought he was going to have to do some criminal time and spend some time in prison.
Maybe
he literally said that Diddy wanted to unalive himself, and I think that in as much and it's even just as big, if not bigger, now if there's bodies involved that of unaliving, because you got to remember they're gonna. I'm hearing that they're gonna possibly open Kim Porter's alleged situation, and who else knows what else. So if the rabbit hole goes really as deep as I think it's gonna go, I think it's a possibility that Diddy is not safe within himself, that before he spends 30, 40, 50 years locked up behind bars or be afraid that somebody else is going to unalive him, he'll do it to himself. I do believe that.
Hopefully that the guy he have the balls to stand trial and at least get a conviction if that's coming. If this stuff is proven to be true. Sister Annie says, this may be a silly question. No, there's no silly question, Sister Annie. Are warrants made public at some point? Yes, it will be made public when he actually gets charged. They'll lay out their case to the public when he gets charged. They say, these are the allegations. This is what we use to go get the evidence. That's when they make it. Right now, he's not charged, so that stuff's not going to be public. It's part of the investigation, and it has to stay under wraps until he's formally charged. All right.
Right. And that's correct. That's correct, Trey. Right now, he doesn't have a warrant for his arrest, and there are no charges. So that is correct. And this is why they're doing what they're doing, so that they can form this based off of evidence, right? Based off of proven evidence that they have to issue a warrant for his arrest or have charges brought
Okay,
up on him. So that's
there
correct.
are there are no warrants or no warrants for his arrest. There was a warrant. That's the whole reason why they went to his house. There's
A
warrants.
warrant for them to search the house, but not his
Yeah,
arrest. That's what I
yeah,
was talking about.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
I
And the other link was the one that Vaughn wanted you to play was to look at how they left his home. That's the link that Vaughn sent you that I think he was wanting you to play.
okay. Well, let's finish this one first, and we may go take a look at that. All right.
Okay, doke.
Let's see.
Warrant in order to do the kind of raid that they perform, particularly in Los Angeles, and that it isn't a thing of where, like you see on TV, oh, let's get the judge to sign off, and then they just sign, oh yeah, you can go into the house. You're talking about the LA properties, a $40 million property. There were 4 buildings on that property, the house, and then 3 other buildings. So they had specific areas they were looking for, specific things they were looking for. I'm sure a lot of it had to do with computers, with laptops, with cameras, with any type of flash drives or hard drives, external hard drives that might be around, to try to build these cases. Now, law enforcement sources tell me as well that they feel that there must be an informant within his camp at this particular time. So that's something to keep in mind as well. But as of this point, Sean Diddy Combs has not been charged with a crime, with a federal crime in connection with any of this. He's vehemently denied all of the civil suits, has settled some of them, but is still facing others. But with the criminal charges, his attorney, Aaron Dyer, put out a very, very severe, very strong statement saying this was just complete overreach by the feds. This was unnecessary, that he categorically denies everything that's been happening. So that, if you're just paying attention to that, it sounds like, okay, well, there's nothing really much going on. But I think that is absolutely wrong, because what we don't know is, was there somebody that finally came forward and made a federal complaint or made a criminal complaint against him for these alleged sexual misconduct incidents and some of the other incidents of trafficking and whatever? But Homeland Security confirmed what they were investigating was trafficking and drug use. Those are their 2 main areas. Those agents in particular are expert in those areas because that is really their focus and their concentration. So I'm sure they're going through everything that they have, all the data that they have, whatever they were able to collect or find or not find in the various homes, and they're putting the pieces together. And let's keep in mind also, when you're talking on the federal level, they have a technological capacity that is extremely extensive. It's not just a question of getting a warrant to put a wiretap on one person's phone or one person's laptop or iPad or whatever tablet, whatever they're using to communicate. It's also, they have ways of aggregating the data so that they can look at it and say, okay, this person is talking to these.
Okay. Let's talk about phone taps. Let's talk about phone taps.
Mm-hmm. I want to say something right quick to Vaughn's question, saying it's strange that they did all that searching with no warrant for his arrest. They have probable cause to get the warrant. The judge signs off on that based off of probable cause, what's in the lawsuits, Vaughn. So that is why they can issue the warrant and not arrest him, but they have to have probable cause to get the warrant to search his property and premises. So if that makes sense, I just want to answer that for Vaughn.
All right, let's I just looked up the video. It's pretty short, so I'm gonna switch over, and we're gonna do this video that Vaughn had brought up here. Let's see. Okay, that's not it. Okay, here we go. All right, let's bring this up. Let's talk about the raid on this property.
They're gonna probably be arresting me just because we want to have a good time.
Multiple safes broken into, drawers ripped open, closets ransacked, boxes of gun ammo and Grammy Awards.
Hey man, that looks good. That looks good compared to how they really do it. That's how they really do it. Oh man, that looks good. That looks good.
From TMZ show inside Diddy's ransacked Beverly Hills mansion during the coast-to-coast raids where no arrests were made.
People in the home are traditionally detained during raids, so they don't flee. and so they don't destroy evidence.
The rapper's attorney calls it a witch hunt with an excessive show of force and hostility that led to a premature rush to judgment, adding Diddy will continue to fight every single day to clear his name.
They don't execute these types of search warrants until they believe they have an ironclad case.
So where's the 54-year-old now? Unclear, but his jet that traveled to Antigua from LA on Monday just landed in Miami today. That's where Diddy was last seen, reportedly bound for a Caribbean spring vacation with his 2 daughters. Also,
his 2 daughters.
Yeah, the twin.
They are messing themselves. But anyway, that's another story. Oh, man. All right.
Daughters. Also with him, an associate, Brendan Paul, who was arrested for alleged drug possession. He's been accused in a lawsuit of being a, quote, drug mule for Diddy, but hasn't commented. At least 5 lawsuits have been filed, nearly all by those claiming Diddy drugged and forced them into having sex. Longtime enemy 50 Cent posted that his upcoming docuseries on the allegations is now entitled Diddy Do It.
What we doing, we can't really disclose.
Look at that underage Justin Bieber at the time. Look how scared he looks at his face. He's like a deer caught in the headlight.
Patrice, do you know who this young man is?
Yeah, it's Justin Bieber.
That's Justin Bieber.
Who life changed and never was the same after leaving Diddy's flavor camp. The same way Usher did, allegedly.
Yeah, but Usher, it looks like Usher found a way to keep rolling with the program, but I think Justin Bieber has just like hit the wall, man. It's just like, because once you get into manhood, you got to reconcile your past. You got to reconcile it. You got to say, okay, maybe I did something that was outside of walking in the way that a man would walk, but now I got to reconcile. I got to say, I got to either say, forget what I did and move on and let it go. Well, some cats can't let it go, right? Some cats can't let it go, and I think Justin
And
Bieber.
are we just gonna skip past Diddy's alleged mule / dealer, right? Who
I don't know too much about him. What can you tell about him?
His name is Brandon. I can't think of his last name. He was a promising college student, going to school, I think on a basketball scholarship. And in some kind of way, that career went left. And how could someone of his caliber who had already had charges, and this is what I want to pay people attention to, because I actually believe that he was inserted and planted there to possibly get infiltrate into Diddy's life to get evidence of some sort on him, because he had already had charges that he was fighting. He was already working with the FBI, right?
Yikes.
So I actually believe that he was a plant there, possibly to become his dealer. He engulfed himself some kind of way in Diddy's life, right? And now all of a sudden they get stopped. He has this contraband on him while they're trying to get on a private jet to go to the islands, and then he goes to jail, and he's actually out right now. He's already been released. So just pay attention to this scenario surrounding his alleged mule, this Brandon guy.
It sound like Goodfellas, huh? I have to have my hat.
I do believe he was planted. I believe he was informant and planted there to get as much evidence as he can off of Diddy, and being the carrier and the dealer for him. Absolutely. Pay attention.
All right, that's how Henry got caught, right? With the drug mule, right? She's gonna get on a plane to Pennsylvania or whatever, and then all of a sudden I gotta have my hat, and he's like, "What? We gotta catch a flight." Yeah, and then he goes out to the car to take her and the police swarmed him, right? All right, let's get back to Diddy.
Even Carisha, though, the young Miami girl, it's alleged that she, transported back and forth. So, like I said, this rabbit hole is getting ready to go deep now. It's alleged in Lil Rod's lawsuit that she was involved in the freak offs, and she was involved in part of the S trafficking, as well as being a part of the one who would uh, send, fly back and forth to provide Puffy with his paraphernalia, if you will.
All right, let's get back to the video, y'all.
He's been accused in a lawsuit of being a, quote, drug mule for Diddy, but hasn't commented. At least 5 lawsuits have been filed, nearly all by those claiming Diddy drugged and forced them into having sex. Longtime enemy 50 Cent posted that his upcoming docuseries on the allegations is now titled Diddy Do It.
What we doing, we can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream.
I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year. So I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it.
As the sex trafficking investigation continues, interviews with Diddy's star proteges are going viral, including Usher, who said as a teen, the rapper introduced him to a hypersexual environment he called Puffy Flavor Camp.
You know, hot girls, pretty girls. I'm around grown women, and I'm seeing them do things and have experiences that I'm not quite ready for.
Would you ever?
Whoa.
Now, can you imagine him saying, "Oh, I went there to see the lifestyle," and what a lifestyle! What a lifestyle that he saw, and what a lifestyle that he was coerced and forced to entangle himself in at 13, 14 years old. That's underage. That's illegal. And from out of the mouth of Gene Deal himself, there was an incident that happened to Usher while he was under the care of Diddy, underage, where Usher had to go to the hospital. Okay?
Why?
There was an incident
Okay.
that happened between Diddy, a grown man, and a underage Usher that sent that young man to the hospital. Read between the lines, brother. I can't be explicit like that.
I ain't trying to get you to be explicit. I mean, you know, but I think, I think I get the idea. You know, maybe somebody was traveling up the wrong ramp. Maybe maybe that might be it. Right?
Well, listen, if you an adult, right? Because Diddy was an adult, and Usher was a underage child. When you're 13, 14, you're underage, you're still a child.
Yeah.
You know, and if there was an incident, right, that caused that young man to have to go to the hospital.
Ouch.
Okay, you either figure what kind of abuse it was. It was either S abuse or physical abuse. So now there was never any charges brought up for him, but the next thing you know, there was a deal made to make sure that Usher becomes a mega star.
Oh boy.
I'll just say that.
Oh boy. Okay, man. You know, this is
and yes, great pill. And I'm so glad you brought that up because this is where the problem lies. Bieber was the protege of Usher. Usher brought Bieber in, discovering him off of YouTube, right? Where he was singing and he loved Usher. He idolized Usher. Usher discovers him on YouTube, signs Bieber to his management label, whatever, and then Usher sends Bieber to Diddy.
Okay.
So now, if you were a victim under the tutelage of Diddy, why would you send an innocent underage boy to the same person that victimized you? Why would you do that, Usher?
Because sometimes they have
that's the problem when the victim become the victimizers and you become a procurer of that. Because anytime you can get on Howard Stern and Howard Stern asks you the question, would you send your children to flavor camp? And he goes, hell no. Then why in the hell would you send somebody else's underage child to Puffy?
Listen, this is what I'm saying. Sometimes the debt that they have to pay is you have to replace yourself. sometimes that's the debt they have to pay in some of these crazy cult-like setups like this. You have to replace yourself. Okay, if you're
See,
gonna step
Usher
up,
was sent there. Usher was sent there by L.A. Reid.
I
Okay.
know, I
So the
understand that.
rabbit hole, again, the rabbit hole goes deep with these guys with this predatory behavior
But
because everybody knew years ago that it was rumored the type of predator, the type of person that Diddy was.
but what I'm
So,
saying is, Patrice, is that sometimes the way it's set up, you can't leave. You can't, or we'll expose all this stuff. We'll expose a bunch of stuff. So you can't leave. The only way you can leave is if you replace yourself. And you have to replace yourself. And see, here's the thing. They're just like pimps. They can spot and look at a person and see what they're willing to do. And they test them. They see what you're willing to do to get what you want. And if you're willing to leave your morality and walk off your square to get the money, once they see that in you, it's easy to bring you in because they can control you, by your desires instead of, dealing with you in a more moral place, right? This is the whole point. Cat Williams went on Shannon Sharp to say that this is going on, right? And, what can they do? I'm not saying Usher was right for doing that. I'm just saying that's how a lot of times if you leave, you got to replace yourself. You got to get us somebody just as gullible as you, just as young as you was when you walked in the door. You have to replace yourself. That's unfortunate.
well, brother, I don't know if that's the case or not. What I'm saying is, shame on Usher. Either way it go. If you know that you were a victim underage, at what point are you going to break the cycle, break the chain of predatory behavior?
But see, this is the
That's all
point.
I'm saying.
I hear
I
you.
don't know if that was the way that he had to replace himself or whatever. That's speculation. I'm
That is.
talking about if you know that you were a victim, why would you send someone else to be victimized? That's all I'm saying. So,
I hear you.
so again, I'm saying shame on Usher for
I
that.
know that. I know that. But what I'm saying is, if you are thrown into an environment like that at 13 years old, no morality, no standards, no behavior becoming of a man, a real man, how would you then think to say, oh, I shouldn't do this? When you were thrown into that environment, that's how
But
you think already.
but
You
the
never
reason why
thought how to think
the
better.
I get it, but the reason why I'm questioning Usher motives and pointing that finger back at him is because you got in my friend's DM, Usher, who is an advocate for child predators. You, Usher, you got in my friend's DM and told her, thank you for fighting to help save children from being victimized because you were a victim. You did that, Usher. You. But then look what you did to someone else. That speaks volumes for me.
Okay. Okay. I'm just saying, a lot. This is the whole point of why we're doing the Urban Warrior Academy, is because these young men ain't being taught. They don't know. And they think, oh, okay, this dude got money and girls. This how it's supposed to go. And money and men and girls and boys. This how it's supposed to go. And so that only thing we got to do is keep it hush hush, because that's the only thing they demand is secrecy. We
For
have
the
to.
children, Vaughn, I wanted to she's an advocate for children that has been preyed upon through molestation, raping, any type of child predatory behavior that happened to children. She's an advocate for those children because she was a victim. So she advocates for children that has been victimized by predators. and Usher got in her DM personally. I saw it with my own eyes and thanked her for the work that she does. And then he do what he do, that's problematic.
But if you don't know, all you know is, see, I tried to cover this, but y'all like, why are you talking about David? Why are you talking about the Bible? But I've tried to cover this, how low you could go, even though you're supposed to be a man of God, a woman of God. You're supposed to be this upright person, right? On the surface. But if you start following these pathways of wickedness, it's easy. Next thing you know, you way off from where you wanted to go. That's why I brought that up, because see, people think, oh, it just happens. No, it don't just happen. There's a lot going on behind the scenes when I'm talking about where we're being asked to. We're in a world that's run primarily by wicked people, but we've been asked to not be a part of that thinking process, but to work around it and try to help anybody who wants to come out of it, help them have a path to come out of it, right? Here, this man, he had a pathway where he could have just said, nah, bruh, I don't want nobody to go through what I went through. But he didn't. But he had to go through having his own children to recognize, oh, I'm putting somebody else's child in that situation. I'm not doing that no more. See, that's what he had to go through, because there was no men or mentors, right? There was no men or mentors to guide him into a right mind of thinking. There was nobody there to tell him no. Same thing when that's why I brought the situation up with David. There was nobody right there in his face to say, nah, bruh, you out of pocket doing that. This is this man's wife. This man's out here fighting for you. Nah, you out of pocket. But see, a lot of times there ain't gonna be no pocket. See, this is the lesson here. Any one of us could fall into the situation that Puppy fell into if we don't have a square we gonna stand on. If you want the money that bad, they can just keep poking you and poking you and poking you and poking you so far off your square. Now you in this situation. Or Usher, right? They keep poking you and poking you and poking you, or they get you started young. They get you started young on the fact that everything's
I
okay.
want, yeah, and you right, Rayfield. Usher was his mentor, and you are absolutely right. Usher and Bieber fell out because Bieber told Usher he did not want to go see him perform at the Super Bowl. I don't think they're friends any longer. Why do you think that is? You understand what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. I mean, it makes
See,
sense.
again, when you find out, how are you gonna say, I'm gonna be a protector of and advocate for child victims because I was one, and then I'm gonna send a child to a predator.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
can't,
they all say it.
you can't do both. You
They
can't do
all
both.
say that.
So
They
that's
all
why right, but again, that's what I'm saying. So that's where the problem lies for me when it comes to Usher. That's where the problem, and that is the reason why there is that reason that Usher and Beaver are no longer cool, because I think that that is what he came to realize, that you allowed and set that up and caused me to go and trust somebody that I thought I can trust based off of you being my mentor. And then look what happened to me when you sent me to this person and you knew
yeah.
that this person had did that to you. That's the problem. Again, that's why I'm saying what I'm saying, and um when you have people that continue to cover up, sweep under the rug the predatory behavior that Diddy has been known to have for over 3 decades. These are people that has worked for him, befriended him, been in party with him, all of these things. Just like that man that powered up that Trump event. He actually was one of the men that was at the freak offs. His name is Jonathan Oddi, Oddi. And they thought he was crazy too when they arrested him, and he said the things that he said about being at the freak offs with Diddy and Cassie back in the day, and some of the very things that he said 6 years ago was some of the things that Cassie implicated in her lawsuit. How could that be? So now you got this man to say, I was a S worker and I lived in and worked in Miami, and I was a part of the freak offs with Diddy and Cassie. He was one of those guys that was there. Puffy ended up paying him off in some kind of way. I don't know the guy, he went mental. He pows up one of the Trump events. And then when they questioning him, even though he does sound a little off, but a lot of stuff he said made sense. He said, I was at the freak off. This is what happened. I used to get paid to do it with Cassie and other people that was there. He said he named Rick Ross. He named DJ Khaled as being those same men that are on the DL that was a part of the freak off. Those are two men he named. You may be able to pull up some of Jonathan Oddi's when they and all of a sudden now this man has went underground because he even though he is in prison, nobody knows where, who, how, when with this guy. But he literally, when they were interrogating him and interviewing him, he named Rick Ross and DJ Khaled as being on the DL and being a part of those freak offs as well. And he named specifically having these freak offs with Diddy and Cassie in Miami. Some of the same things he said in his interview 6 years ago was some of the same thing that Cassie said in her lawsuit. So now you connect the dots. Follow the bouncing ball.
All right, let's read Great Pill Podcast comment. He says, my point with the Usher and Bieber relationship, adults that came in contact with the child, how long, how much, and the type of relationship. Everyone needs to be looked at and questioned. Yeah, I guess that's what they're doing now. Great Pill. They're about 10 years too late for Bieber and 20 for Usher, but
Yeah, because I think depending on the state, certain things that unless there's no statute of limitations for that when it comes to children in certain states, depending on that situation, the statute of limitations may be up. Just like the case with Puffy and J-Lo with the shooting, because it's alleged that J-Lo was the one that was carrying the gun, which is another thing that in Cassie's lawsuit says she used to do for Puffy, right? So during that shooting, it was alleged that J-Lo was the carrier, used to do the same thing that Cassie used to do for Puffy, and then gave the gun to him, which would implicate J-Lo. But now because the statute of limitations is up on that, and J-Lo allegedly lied on the stand to the grand jury. So the statute of limitations is up. I doubt if she ever faced any charges. I doubt if, unless they can find some loophole that Puffy will ever, have charges brought up against him, because Shine has already did that time for him. Unless they can find some loophole and reopen that case, I think it's the same thing with the Usher and the Bieber situation. If there's a statute of limitations on something that has to do with that type of crime against children, then you got the likes of people like the L.A. Reids, the people like the Ushers, the people like the Diddy's who won't those charges. They won't get charged for those. Those will get thrown out when it comes to the cases. It depends, again, like I said, on the state and whatever the statute of limitation and the laws are in that state.
All right, let's continue back with the video of Diddy.
Ever send your kid to Puffy camp?
Hell no.
Let's just go get some girls. Let's go hang out some girls.
Man after my heart. That's what I'm talking about, kid.
As I said before, I'm innocent.
Diddy talked to E.T. about his prior trouble with the law, including that infamous 1999 nightclub shooting. At the time, he and then-girlfriend J-Lo were both arrested.
I wish I would have stayed at home.
J-Lo wasn't charged, and Diddy was ultimately acquitted. But what can we expect if he's charged and tried in his new federal probe?
Diddy has essentially unlimited funds to defend this case, and I expect him to litigate it very aggressively. Ultimately, I think Diddy is going to be indicted by a grand jury. If Diddy waives his right to a speedy trial, he could potentially push the case out a year or more.
I can't be in this position again. I can't. I got to try my best to do everything not to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
I guess
Now,
that
little,
didn't work.
go ahead. Yeah, Little Rod said in his lawsuit that, Diddy allegedly told him, "You don't think I can get away with doing this? I got away with that shooting back in the day." So Little Rod brought that situation up in his lawsuit. So again, like I said, they may look at this stuff. They may open it up. Like I said, if they can find any loophole or if any statute of limitations is not up regarding this situation, then it's a possibility, yeah, that he can possibly be charged, because that lady that the one that got pop out in the face, she just recently went on social media and said, I've always said that Diddy was the one that pop out me. I've always stood on that. And then they came, his fans came hard at her. She said, "What y'all got to say now? What y'all got to say now?" She said, "I've always said it, that he was the one that did it." So yeah, I mean, you talking about 30 plus years of unpacking different things. Can they go back that far depending on the law and in that state and the statute of limitation? Yeah, depends.
All right, Patrice, let's start wrapping up because we ain't gonna stay too long. I think
Yeah.
everybody pretty much
I
knows
thought Vaughn said he was coming up here. Where Vaughn at?
Vaughn busy. It's Easter. Vaughn is stuck in the parking lot out there in Gardena with Noel Jones. He's stuck in the parking lot. He can't get his car out. That's me blocking you, Vaughn. That's me. I got my car parked there while I'm over here doing this show. Right.
Yeah, Risa, I had heard that too. I had heard at first that he was supposed to been unalived in prison, and then I heard that he was missing. So I think that they are. I think he went under some type of special protective custody, because I actually think he is one of the ones, one of the 4 people that may be talking to the FBI. Actually, that's what I believe, based off of
maybe and they got him hit out.
yeah. Oh yeah, they got him protected, as is the other people. I think the other one that is talking is the one that is alleged that she was S trafficked. And that girl, pay attention, because she's a white girl. She's a white girl. She was brought from Michigan, where Diddy's president, Pierre, he was a president of Bad Boy. He met her in Michigan, right? She's originally from Canada. She's a white girl, originally from Canada, but he met her in Michigan and flew her in Diddy's private jet from Michigan to New York. And that's allegedly where Diddy, Pierre, and another unknown man raped her. So that's where the sex trafficking part comes in, and I absolutely believe she is one that is talking to the Fed. So yeah.
Holy smokes! All right, Patrice, why don't you give me a closing statement and start wrapping up and getting up out of here?
Yeah. I just want to say, yeah, definitely up under the court of law, Diddy is innocent until proven guilty, right? Because it's, even though we've been hearing these things for over 3 decades, it's not what we hear and what we believe, is what can be proven. So we just have to sit back and watch things unfold and see what is said to be proven I do believe some charges will be dropped, some will be thrown out, and all of this too, because like I said, I'm not saying I believe everything in all of those lawsuits, right? Because like I said, Lil Rod threw in everything but the kitchen sink. There may be some fabrication there, absolutely, but I think that the overall picture is definitely being painted here, and we just gonna have to continue to watch and look and listen and let it be unfolded. And then when the actual evidence comes to light, actually what he is actually going to be charged of is what's going to be made to pay attention. I think that the artists that that Diddy has done wrong, when you're talking about the likes of Craig Mack, rest in peace. I am very good friends with Craig Mack's ex-wife. When you're talking Black Rob, rest in peace. When you're talking The Locks, when you're talking Loon, when you're talking Mace, when you're talking Lil Kim, you can go on and on with all these artists that was known to do wrong. The artists from the Making the Band, Freddie P, and all of them. I think that there's a recompense and a some form of justice. Biggie, number one, are they going to open and reinvestigate Biggie's unaliving, which can lead to Pac's unaliving? It's so much, you guys, that this man is allegedly to have been involved with. Kim Porter's unaliving.
Tupac's unaliving that was Tupac's doing. So Tupac's unaliving was his own doing.
But you don't know that, bro. We wasn't there. You don't know that. We still are going by a lot of things that was alleged, right? And Keefe D has been openly saying that there was a payment arrangements made for $1 million that was alleged to been paid off to Keefe D and Zip for the unaliving of Pac. Again, I said that this
a lot of stuff. So
but I know, bro. I'm just only saying that these are all things that are going to be looked at and investigated now.
Okay.
Now, when it comes to Biggie as well, because they were all out there when the unaliving of Biggie, and everybody knows that Biggie was leaving Bad Boy and taking Lil Kim, The Locks, Junior Mafia, Cameron, Charlie Baltimore, was taking all of these artists with him. He had just got a $62 million contract with Atlantic Records. So
I didn't know that. Everybody
yes, yes. For those that didn't know, so it is a rabbit hole that is going to go very deep. This is not going to be settled overnight. It's a lot of nuances to this, you guys. And the FBI is going to have to look at all these alleged allegations. Everybody knows now that Keefe D's trial is currently going on for the murking and unaliving of Tupac. So again, there's going to be nuances and levels to this, y'all, and we just going to have to sit back and watch and find out what he is eventually going to be charged and arrested for. And I rest my case there.
All right. Hold on, Patrice. Brother Vaughn, because Vaughn might want to ask you something. Brother Vaughn, what's going on?
What's going on, everybody?
Hey, Brother Vaughn.
Yeah, I finally made it. Had a little background noise, so I was trying to get it together so I, didn't make a ruckus when I came up here.
Vaughn.
Well, I'm glad you made it. And I just want to say to you, Brother Vaughn, too, thank you so much for calling and checking up on me. I'm sorry I didn't get to call you back, but I so appreciate you just checking up on me. Thank you.
I'm going to do that.
What about me?
I be always.
Oh, whatever with you, Brother Clayton. Whatever. No, I'm just playing. I love you too.
But listen,
I already know, girl. Ain't nothing
and Sister Annie, because Sister Annie texts me checking on me too, so I love her too. I love y'all.
Yeah, man. But Vaughn, that's me blocking you in the Vaughn. Are you in the parking lot still trying to get out? That's me blocking you, Vaughn. That's me. That's my car.
Well, they weren't going to trick me today. I don't do Easter because getting stuck in that parking lot like that. I can't do it. You know, everybody and their mama.
Hey, family, this is an inside joke between me and Vaughn. Vaughn is always complaining that Easter
Yeah,
and
those are the 2
Christmas,
days of the year I don't go.
he ain't gonna go because his car gets locked in, right? I can tell him I'm the one blocking your car in, Vaughn.
Exactly. See, either it's Christmas or Easter. I don't show up on those days.
I'll be there for Christmas, Vaughn.
Oh, one more thing. I know we didn't talk about this, but I want to say this right quick before Vaughn speaks, because we didn't talk about you guys know that I'm buddies with Al B. Sure, and you guys know that Quincy, Al B. Sure has left the door open for Quincy to come home and things, even though they have had a rocky father-son relationship dynamic. You guys, just like a lot of us do sometimes with our children as parents, but Diddy had a lot to do with that. You know what I mean? That's another rabbit hole, but a lot's going to come out because Al B. Sure is also going to be working on his like a docu-series or something too. So it's so much, guys, that's going to be coming with this. But I want to send a special shout out to my friend, my buddy Al B. Sure. I want to send a special shout out and prayer for his son Quincy. He wasn't there when this happened. I pray to God he's not involved or get engulfed in any of this nefarious criminal activity. And I want to send a special shout out to my girlfriend Roxanne, who was married to Craig Mack, her and her children. And I hope that some justice, like I said, for them and everybody that it's alleged that Puff did wrong, that they get some form of justice in this whole situation. So yeah, that's why I'm to leave that.
All right, Vaughn, go ahead, man.
Yeah, well, the whole story is just crazy, man. I mean, just so outlandish, and it's funny because look what you do in the dark, ladies and gentlemen. It eventually it's gonna come to the light.
Yeah.
And man, I think this is the beginning of the end for this brother. I can just hear R. Kelly over there, singing in his cell. Whoa, jail.
Oh man,
You're going to jail.
Wait, say what?
That was cold. That was cold, man.
But and deservingly though, because this brother has done so many diabolical things and gotten away with it, man.
Yeah.
It comes a time where you're gonna have to pay the piper. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You just can't get away scot-free like that. I don't believe God's gonna let you do it. And just recently I heard I heard that some a tape leaked of him and Meek Mill,
Oh my God! Yes, did y'all hear that? It was disgusting.
Who Meek Mill? Who
was disgusting.
Who and Meek
And
Mill?
that, if this is true, it's alleged that one of Puffy's security guards leaked this tape of them two. And oh my God, yeah, I don't.
XCX.
Yeah, they were going at it, man, all on the tape. It not a video, but the audio.
Yikes.
It was an audio. Yeah. So just crazy, man. I can imagine R. Kelly's over there singing that tune.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Holy smokes, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But this is like I'm trying to say, man, this is sometimes when we doing wrong, gotta say, okay, if you don't go past this point, I'll help. We will leave what you did in the past alone. We'll take that as a learning lesson and we'll move forward. But most of us don't see it that way. Like, for example, like Puffy got away with the gun charge, right? Sometimes you get a pass. And that pass is like, hey, you're supposed to use that pass to say, okay, I'm gonna drop all of this other stuff I'm doing too, right? You got to pass on this, but you could say, hey, look, I got to pass on that. I'm just gonna stop, right? But no, here's what happens. We continue, and then that's when God is just say, okay, when it all blow up on you, it's gonna be on you. I'll be here, but it's on you. But it's a different. We got to work it a different way now. When it all blow up on you, now we got to work it a different way. Here I was giving you an opportunity to walk out the door with it, or walk out the door and leave the rest of it behind you. Now you're gonna let these people gonna pull you up, right? So that's the point I was trying to make, is that there's always a point at which you can change your ways and walk out, but we have to be awake and awake enough and have our eyes open enough to see God bringing us to that point. Because if we don't, we just keep going down the rabbit hole until you know, like the Bible says, you get so many enemies, they just encompass you. They just surround you. And now what can you do, right?
Yeah.
So, but anyway, Vaughn, we about to get out of here, man. You have any closing statements, man, or any question to ask Patrice?
Well, I'll just say this, you know, I was pretty much done with Sean Combs when he sent those young people to walk miles and miles to get him some cheesecake. You know, I was pretty much done with him then.
I've never been a fan of his, but okay.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? And yeah, but man, the only thing we can do is just sit and watch the story unfold. You know,
Yeah.
What about this? Yeah, I want to ask Patrice. What about this young lady they constantly speaking about? Crease, what's her name? Starts with the C.
Carisha, that's Young Miami.
Yeah. So now, what is her part in all of this?
Well, I mean, they're saying that she was a S worker in the lawsuit or whatever, but it's alleged that she did more than that, because they saying that she was. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you.
Okay. They saying that she allegedly was transporting contraband for Puff as well when the mule wasn't available or around to do it. But she was, like, during the time, I think, of some award ceremony, she was trying to say she wasn't there, and it's alleged now she's been caught in a lie. And in the Lil Rod lawsuit, he's also said that that she was like trying to force her cousin to assault him or something like that. But she's being engulfed in it as well, and I don't think she is completely innocent when it comes to her just being a S worker for Diddy, allegedly like 50 Cent's ex baby mama. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's again, it's more just have to come out about that, because y'all know 50 Cent had a baby's mother, Daphne Joy, is allegedly supposed to be a S worker too for Diddy as well, because Diddy was going with her after 50 Cent. So I think 50 Cent been having it in for him ever since then. But I also blame her too, because why would you go to your ex's arch nemesis? You know what I'm saying? If you ain't got some type of angle yourself of getting some type of revenge on him or pissing him off, you gonna actually go to his arch enemy and start going with him after. Some of these young women are just as toxic as the men with their behavior. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, they're just a part of the whole grand scheme. But what about this mule? Now, was he carrying weight? Or did he have a little amount of drugs? That they were looking into. Like, what kind of mule was he? Was he carrying weight? Was he carrying?
Because I mean, if the feds come in, you must be carrying a little bit of weight, right?
Now they got this new stuff out, guys, where
this guy might seem like a canary, in order to get off.
I think he will.
They got this new stuff out, y'all. Because it's pink powder now, and it's cocaine mixed with something else. So maybe somebody in the chat can tell me. I think it's cocaine with ecstasy or cocaine with something else, but it's pink now. So he was caught with that plus weed plus something else. It was like, and that's what got him arrested.
It wasn't for distribution, right? It was just enough to party or whatever they call it. Or was it? Or can they get him for distribution? Because if you have a certain amount, they can You know.
Right. I don't know how much it was, but it was on his person because it was in his person bag. So I guess that's why he got arrested for it at the time and not Diddy. More than likely he is the dealer and provider of said paraphernalia for Diddy, I'm sure.
You know, Brother Combs, he has a habit of having people hold on to stuff for him, that's illegal, especially guns. I think J-Lo holding a gun for him, another young man hold a
Cassie.
weapon for him. Man, this
It's the
dude is
same way. It's the same way he do with like his publishing. He put it in his mother's name or his kid's name. He do stuff in other people's names because he don't want to be tied to it. That's one of his MOs. And the same thing. So if they get stopped or anything by the cops or anything, the woman that's carrying the pow is going to get in trouble, or whoever that's carrying the pow for him, or whoever's carrying the contraband for him, they gonna get in trouble, not him. And he's been known to do that. Just like to skip from paying the artist the publishing, he puts it in his children's name or in his mother's name. Everything, and he's in $140 million debt to the bank for mortgages. So I don't think he's the billionaire that people were portraying him to be. I just really don't. I think a lot of it was a facade as well.
Now, do you think that he knew that the feds were coming? Because I heard someone say that he was tipped off, that the feds were coming. And if that's the case, why would you not give a forewarning to your children that's in the house? Get out the house.
Yeah, exactly. That's what everybody was saying. Like, shame on him if he knew and got tipped off. Why wouldn't you not let nobody be at home? If you didn't have time enough to get all of the evidence out of there, you should at least not had your children there. So I'm really not sure if he really knew or was tipped off. Now that's a $64,000 question. I'm not sure of.
Wow. Yeah. Well, hey, it's a story that's just going to continue to keep giving. And I guess we'll just have to sit back and see how it unfolds, But when you do devilment and you do a whole bunch of it, believe me, eventually you're going to reap what you sow. You see,
if you keep going forward, yeah.
Absolutely, my brother. And I'm just looking at a lot of these men that is caping for him so hard. Luke and Tyrese. It's just like it's pathetic. And you cannot always make the excuse of, oh, they just trying to take a black brother down. They just try. Nah. Everybody knows for over 3 decades of a lot of the nefariousness that Diddy has done and what he's been doing to people. Allegedly. And we can't always say that this is just, they trying to take a black man down. Now, I'll stand up 10 toes down for that when that's the case. But this is the case. I don't think that is the situation that needs to be called that, or say that this is what's going on. No. This is a thing called karma. This is a thing called a full circle moment where the sins and the things of him is coming back to haunt him, unfortunately, and he's going to have to pay the piper, just the same way R. Kelly did, just the same way as anybody else does when they get caught.
All right, y'all, let's start wrapping up. Vaughn, you got any last comments, man? Because we're going to try to keep it short today.
No, not really. I just wanted to, get up and, just kind of share my thoughts on the subject. That was pretty much it.
Yeah,
Thank you for having me.
By the way,
Go ahead.
Today's show sponsored by Vaughn Bryant, because Vaughn Bryant's the one that said, "Hey, man, why don't we look into this?" So we looked into it. I don't know if we're going to follow up with anything else. I'm not really a Puffy guy, so it didn't really interest me. I'd heard these rumblings before, so we'll see how it turns out. But anyway, anything else?
Hey, Marcus. No, I will listen. I'm in the business and I've been for over 30 years. So I know people that, have been in proximity to him. Like I said, I've never personally been to Diddy party, but I've been in situations at parties where I know it's certain parties where I know when I need to leave. I know it's certain parties when I've had to walk away, when I have seen contraband and paraphernalia, and I didn't want to be associated with it. There's been times when I've known that, people do lead certain lifestyles that I wasn't into, and you have to walk away, and you have to turn away and not indulge. But when you choose to do that, go ahead.
Patrice, is your name Vaughn?
Yes,
Is your name is Vaughn?
I thought you said closing arguments. I'm sorry.
I
Go ahead.
did, but
I
I said,
apologize.
do you have anything more to say, Vaughn?
And
I
I did.
apologize.
I thought I did. I
I
closed with
thought you did. I thought
what
you
I
did
just
too.
But I
man. What's
still
going
was
on with
talking
brother
to
No,
Vaughn?
Vaughn.
no, don't be shaking. Don't be shaking that head. Vaughn
I
had
just said
finished. Now you
Vaughn.
can't blame me for that
I
one.
had
No, I'm not.
finished.
I didn't know if Vaughn might have something else to say because I think I interrupted him. So I didn't
No,
want to make sure that he was done with what he had to say.
no, I'm good, man. I'm good.
I wanted to also make this point because like I was y'all, like y'all know, I've told y'all stories behind the scene. Y'all know that I've said that I've been in positions too where I've had to walk away, where I've had to say no. And this is a thing that comes with that. When people choose to stay, whether they engage in it or not, guys, because I've been in positions where that if I'd have said something to certain things, innocent people would have paid the price too. So it takes a lot, for myself included. It takes a lot. And I'm not talking about nothing on the level of Diddy. I'm just talking about, just say, I'm gonna give an example. Being around contraband, right? If I choose to walk away, if I see that, I choose to walk away because I don't engulf in that, right? But I know that there's people that have stayed that don't indulge. So if I had said something, I knew that there were innocent people that would have paid for the price for the people that were indulging in it would have done. Because I come up in a time in the entertainment industry where it was everywhere. You guys, you couldn't avoid it. It was everywhere. Everybody have always been involved in contraband, unfortunately. And then it's like, if you, how can I say it? If you are there and you in a position where you can't walk away, say for instance, you about to hit the stage, you got a job to do. It's thousands of people waiting on you, and you have to do that job. But after you do that job, then you leave. I've done that so many times, but I've been in the positions where I've been so lucky, guys, that and so blessed that there wasn't a position where somebody bust in and raided and there was contraband everywhere. And there I've been in positions where I've left people that I know that don't indulge, but they were there because they had to be there and they dealt with it. They chose to deal with it. And if something would have been, police or somebody would have been called, innocent people that had nothing to do with that would have been compromised and taken a downfall for that. So I don't want people to be so quickly to judge certain situations that people have been in. But when it comes to trafficking, children, and things, that you have to draw a line somewhere. And I'm lucky to say that I've never been in that position where, because I definitely would have said something. You know what I mean? If it come to underage children or any type of trafficking, I've never seen that. But again, I've had adult friends in that industry that absolutely indulge in the lifestyle, but they are adults, and you can't tell adults what to do with their life and who they choose to lay down with, who they choose to have sex with. You can't do that. So I wanted to make that clear that um yeah, most of my life I've been around contraband. That was just a part of the industry. But I thank God I've never indulged. I've been blessed enough to not ever be in that situation where I had to be forced to to decide if I wanted to do this contraband or not do this gig or have this gig. I've been that blessed. So, but everybody is not that lucky, you guys. They're not.
Amen.
Man. All right, are you guys done?
I am done, brother. Good subject, good topic. I think we probably should, we probably should address it again at some point, because if we can't sit here and say that someone as big as Diddy, that has had such a major contribution to hip hop and R&B, that this doesn't affect us as a culture and a community, because it does. I think this is a big L that is being taken for the culture and for that industry.
Yeah.
I agree with that. All right, I'm gonna pull you guys down. Don't go nowhere.
All right.
Everybody that's on their way up here, Risa, any y'all need to get up here, and I'll leave you in the back while I what did Patrice say? Long stroking? Is that what they say? All right, I'll give you guys a few minutes to get up here. All right, shout out to Marcus, by the way. Spitshine and Bufford about that when you guys gave me and Rico a good slosh in there. Okay. All right. We gonna give it up. See, you guys are young. When you get my age, you won. You won, young man. That's okay. You won. I saved my strength for some real serious wars. So you guys won. Let's see. Who else? Anybody else that Risa said have a nice, great day and a nice weekend? Shout out to Risa. Okay, if you guys come up here. If not, let me know so we won't be waiting around. Okay. So how did we see what I really wanted to get into, but I didn't get a chance to. But what I really wanted to get into is how does this relate to you and me, the average everyday person? How does what happened to Puff Daddy relate to you and me, the everyday person? And how I wanted to break that down was how, we anybody could get caught up, right? You have some good fortune coming, and next thing you know, see, you start out, right? Bro, see, starting out with Urban Warrior Academy, right? I want to teach the young men how to do good and everything like that. That's why I'm starting out like that. But hey, I need help. I need y'all to watch me. Make sure, hey, Clarence, don't do that. I need some help. I need y'all to, because man, I might get weak, right? Everybody get weak. Hopefully I won't, but I might get weak. And so I need the help of y'all to help keep me straight. All right, I think we got everybody that we need for this little backstage meeting. All right, so what y'all think about what do y'all think about what we did today? What do y'all think about what we said today, right? Been a nice little discussion. Don't worry about me and Patrice. Me and Patrice argue all the time, but we're gonna hug and kiss before, just like me and Rico. We're gonna hug and kiss before it's all over. So don't even worry about it. Plus, she crazy, y'all. But anyway, man. Yes, what do y'all think? I mean, even though we're talking about this Puff Daddy thing, we want to know, y'all look at it and what lesson can you pull out of it to help you in your life? Because it really don't matter if you're just looking at it to just throw rocks at Puff Daddy, or you just looking at it to say, I'd never be in that situation. You don't know what somebody may offer you. So remember, we got to stay plugged into God. We got to stay plugged into what he wants us to do, what he wants for us, and his mission for us. We got to stay plugged in, because the minute you unplug, bro, the minute y'all unplug, or any one of us unplug, we goners. I'm sure this guy started off, hey, I'm just a good guy. I just want to dance and have a good time. But as more temptation comes, it's easy for any one of us to say, oh, I would never sleep with all these women. I would never do all this stuff. See, you ain't at the level where the temptation is at that level, right? You here, right? You here with Bro Clarence. Ain't no women coming running at me, right? It's easy for me to say, I would never do this. I would never do that. But y'all don't hear me saying that, right? I'm just saying I got to keep focused on God, because if not, I mean, any one of us could fall down. Any one of us could get caught up, right? Anybody could get caught up, man. You got any one of us could get caught up, right? You could follow your desires, right? But next thing you know, you so out of pocket, man. You think your desires is God talking to you, telling you to go get your dreams and goals, but your dreams and goals is off. You got to be plugged into God's thing. And a lot of time when you plugged into God's thing, it's going to be the reverse. Don't go there. Don't do this. Don't do. It's going to be a lot of don'ts, right? Right? So you got to get used to that, because God don't lay stuff out for you, man. Everything you're going to get, you're going to work for in this life if God is involved in it. But if the devil is presenting it to you, he'll do you like he did Jesus, take you up on the hill and say, you ain't got to work for nothing. Here. The devil do Jesus' mission. He knew what was coming. He said, man, you don't have to even go through that, man. I can give you a city right now. You don't have to get them stakes in the arms, stakes in the legs. You don't have to get all that. You don't have to be forsaken. You don't have to be none of that. You don't have the people spitting on you. You don't have to go through none of that. I got you right here. But Jesus was smart. How you gonna offer something that's already got my name? This is already mine. Yeah, I got to go through what I got to go through, but I mean, this is already mine. You got the lease. I got the deeds. You know? That's why we got to stay planted, man. We got to stay planted. I know a lot of people are, well, I don't want to hear about God, Clarence, because I just came here to just shoot the fat. Okay, we're going to shoot the fat a little bit, because I got to get you in here. We got to shoot the fat a little bit, but I got to show you how this relates to you, and I got to show you how you can stay out of it. Stay out of it. Don't get involved, get yourself involved in stuff. Now, for you, it ain't going to be no big ex-trafficking thing. It ain't going to be that. For you, you're going to get caught up with your side woman or your side dude or whatever, right? That's what's going to blow your world up. So there's a point where God say, cut this side dude out. Cut this side girl out. Cut this side woman out. Cut it alone. Let it alone. Cut this what you're doing. Cut that what you're doing. If we don't see it, if we can't hear his voice in our head because we're too busy listening to the devil, we won't see it. It's like a sign down at the road saying the bridge is out 50 yards away. But because you haven't spoken English in so long, you can't even read English no more. You just drive right past it. And then when you get to where the bridge is out, whoop, you go right over the cliff. No, beloved, let's start looking at how we could improve our weight, right? Let's start looking at how we can improve our lives. And one of the ways we can improve our lives is to learn lessons. Smart people learn lessons off of the mistakes they made. Wise people learn the mistakes that the smart people made. They don't have to make that mistake. They can learn off the smart people, right? And the people with absolutely no sense, they never learn. They keep running their head into the same wall, the same wall, the same wall, the same wall. All right, family, that's it. You want to know more about Puffy? It will, I guess, if something changed where he gets indicted or this or that, we'll probably come back and revisit it. All right, we'll see y'all on the next one. We may do one this week. I don't know. It depends on how I'm going to feel. You know, y'all, I went back to work, so I'm working. Claire, you're trying to get this money so you can be rich and deal. I don't have to do that. Brother Clarence keep his lifestyle very low. Plus, I work for a living. I work for a living, so I don't need nobody to give me no money so that I can get something that I don't need. You know what I mean? It would be nice to have a big, beautiful home. That would be nice, but I don't need that. It would be nice to have a bunch of, millions of dollars in the bank. That would be nice, but I don't need that. I need to be connected to the God. That's what I need, right? No matter if I'm living on the street or living in a mansion, I need to be connected to the God, man. I just need to know that God's with me. I got an open line to get to the God, to the main line. I got the main line. So once I know I got the main line, whatever happens, it's just cake. It's just cake. He give me the mental powers to be able to decide, that doesn't make no sense. That don't make no sense, man. Dude come up to me, hey, Clarence, if you give me 15,000, I can take that 15,000 and I'll bring you back 30 in a month. I got to have sense enough to say, whatever you doing, that's going to bring me $30,000, a profit of $15,000 in less than 30 days. I better not get involved with it. It's got to be illegal, right? It's got to be, or close. Right? Anyway, God give us that common sense that we could think about things and say, wait a minute, this ain't making no sense here. The math ain't mathing on this one. Anyway, I hope I said something. Hope we said something, me, myself, Patrice, and Vaughn. I hope we said something that could help you in your daily travels. But y'all, man, just like I said, try to do your best to improve yourself and improve your connection to the God. All right, we will see y'all on the next one. Peace.